How can we create time? Let me say that one more time. How can we create time? What is creating time? What is creating time? How I'm starting this stream today be an example of creating time. You see, when I ask you that question, most of you might be intrigued, most of you might be confused, most of you might not be certain in what direction I'm going. And that's a good thing. But you see, at no point are you worried about misunderstanding. At no point are you worried about that bad is happening. You're just present and waiting to see what direction I'm walking toward. Where is he taking this? How is he going to take this? If I had created fear, problems, despair, sorrow, misery, anything of that nature within you, preemptively, and I said that to all of you, and it brought those things back, well then all of a sudden, you might not be intrigued anymore. What do you mean? How can we create time? So, when I say that how I started this stream, I don't even know, just to make this so evident for people, I don't even know at what point the stream actually starts recording, because there's a slight delay once I start to when it actually gets saved and released to live. It's not much time, but there is some time, so I don't actually know the exact time when my stream begins. So I added slight delays, but do you guys understand that means that the beginning is always an operation of I have no idea when things are going to happen. It's actually one of the greatest protection mechanics that can exist, because do we see that the moment, think about it guys, when a countdown is happening, it's like, all right guys, you're going to be live in 3, 2, 1, cut. And now when that happens, you guys see we are operating on a known variable. We're operating with everything is fixed. Everything is a given. There's no question marks left anymore. We know precisely when something's going to happen. We know what it's going to lead to. So then it's going to be, we're operating live, so it's going to be sent and broadcast to all these particular people in all these regions. What if I told you that, imagine if you're like, all right guys, we're going to go live sometime in the next 5 minutes. And at no point I tell you when. So I'm like, just start talking, and it's going to start in sometime within the next 5 minutes. We don't know exactly when either, and we couldn't pinpoint exactly the exact locations of where we're throwing a grenade. We think that when we throw a grenade, those locations get the stream or the video broadcast to them. We don't actually know which locations are going to receive it today. So I'm like, it might be that location, it might be that one, it might be a few others. Think of it like countries or things of that nature, guys, or channels, whatever makes sense to all of you. Well, people are like, wait, so my parents could see this? Or the beautiful daughter, grandson I want to date could see this? Or things of that nature. And I'm like, yeah, anything of that nature. But they also might not. So you see, if we don't know, our behavior has to become just our own. In the past, I called it and I deemed it the unknown variable. That's still more than a valid explanation for this. But what I'm really saying is that for the first time ever, we're creating existence itself. We're creating time itself when we're operating outside of the known. That means that we can set things in motion, because what you guys are going to realize is that if all of a sudden I know that the girl that I want to date is watching this, and my parents are watching this, it might not deviate me significantly, because initially they'll try, but I can destroy it. And think of it like there's like a stake in the ground that we put, and we can just hammer it back in. I think like Legend of Zelda, boom, 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 boom. And when that happens, you guys see, like, then we are gonna, once we defeat it, we're gonna operate normally again, in a sense, freely, where we can just create outside of any boundaries that are trying to confine us. But what you guys are gonna realize is that we still know, even 1%, that my girl could be watching or is watching. I'm saying, guys, if we have zero idea if that's gonna happen or not, it could or could not. It's completely random. There's a really good chance that it's not gonna happen. You're like, well then, I just have to do that. I have to operate the same regardless. I piece it together in the sense of, because what this topic really is I'm talking about how can we create time? How can we create existence itself so that we can operate outside of what's trying to confine us, so that we can just make things happen for good and only for good. But you guys see, it only can happen if we don't know. Because the moment we know, it changes everything. Imagine if a director just said to all of you, hey guys, all of us are actors in the grand play in Alexandria called Life. And we're operating in this grand play, and we have no idea what is being recorded for the final play. People are like, is this the draft? Is this the dress rehearsal? We don't know. Is this the one that's going to be released to the public? We don't know. You guys see, if we don't know, then for the first time ever, everything that is created is what I am calling time. Because before that, we are flowing on the river of what most people will call time. If we know, we're flowing on the river of time because it's already present with us. We just get to jump into the water, and we get to swim there, exploring, trying to find the underwater kingdom to see if we can find our red coral princess. But do you guys see? That means that everything that we're doing is a known. The path is already paved. It's pre-written. There was times in my life that I believed that everything was essentially predetermined, and I have now come to the conclusion that it's not, but for the most part, it is. People are like, that doesn't make sense. Exactly. I'm saying that since most people haven't broken free from this, is that almost everything that we're doing day by day is actually predetermined. And it doesn't mean that all those things are bad. It doesn't mean that the things that we do moment by moment are bad. On the contrary, the reason why we do most of those things is because they're actually good. But you guys see, eventually it comes to the point where it becomes a predetermined path that we do, and we're just flowing in the river that I call time, which means that we are not bending existence to our will. We are not writing a new thread in a grand tapestry that is life. We are a known thread that gets added to any rug or carpet that we want to maybe buy in a marketplace in Mexico or get in Germany. Do you guys understand? We're known now. So that means that our thread, we're not the ones who are adding threads to the grand tapestry. We are a thread that's being added onto specific tapestries or rugs or whatever you guys think. So that means that they know what we are, they know the conditions, they know the variables, they know how we operate, and they slot us in. And when the journey of life that we're exploring first begins, you guys see that's actually a good thing, because it means that we can be slotted in where we can have positive impact. You see, if it was just like that, if the world operated like that, then I would say it's fine. I think there's still something great to strive for more, to want to be the one that can create the threads. But you guys see, that would be fine if it was only used for positive. But what ends up happening is that it doesn't matter what you call it. Some people call it the void. Some people, I used to call it all knowing. Some people call it whatever. You guys see, the names don't matter, the terms don't matter. But what I'm trying to get you guys to realize is that there's something that has come to realize that we all become a known thread. And when we become a known thread, all our actions now become predetermined because they know how we respond to things, they know our behaviors, they know our negatives, and they know our positives, which means that they can slot us in precisely where they need us so that we do the positives, but so that we also do the negatives that they need. And when that happens, you guys see, now we aren't creating time, we are just actors playing out the part that time is writing for us. And I'm saying something else took over time itself. I guess what I'm realizing is that time itself is like malleable glue, and it's a variable that can be molded, but something always needs to be molding it. And ideally, we would leave time be. All of us would just let it be, and everyone would be able to partake. Like there's like a wellspring in the middle of grasslands, and it can grant us powers, or it could be the place where we have an epic encounter. But you guys see, in that location, if we just let it be, everyone can partake in it. Everyone can throw in their contributions. Some people would think of it like a wishing well, like throwing in like a coin or something like that. But other people might view it as just something to appreciate. And someone else might view it as, wait, I can actually move the water a little bit this way, and we can make some fish appear here. So you guys understand what I'm trying to get you to realize is that that would be the ideal circumstance, that we let time alone and all of us can just partake in it freely. Not controlling us, we're not responding to it, we're all just there with it, present. But I'm saying, guys, that would be a mistake with the way the world is currently designed. I'm not sure. See, this is where I remember what I said, guys. We don't want to focus on what we can't understand. We don't want to focus on what causes misunderstandings. All the things that we can't explain, the things that we'll never be able to answer to. I don't know why it is this way, guys, but what I do know is that something is trying to take over time so that we become slotted in. So if I know that means that where the mistake actually gets created is that all of us accept the terms, that we are just slotted in. We give up our agency, we give up our hierarchy, we give up our ability to write existence, to write a new thread, to write a new storyline, to be an unknown variable, to be something outside of the circle, outside of the confines, so that we can actually set things in motion, each and every one of us. I'm telling you, the majority of people, if not every single person I've met throughout my entire life and that I still keep bumping into from now henceforth, is that I just see that they're all just, they can't set things in motion. They respond to things, which means that they think that they're writing stories. They think that they're creating existence. They think that they're creating time. But I'm saying that everything that they're doing is just in response. So there's no freedom present. And they are just serving the role that something else is intending for them. How could that happen? Well, we're gonna explore this more in depth later, but really, where it ends up resulting from is that destruction events occur. Destruction events happen because there's certain things that we desire, certain things that we wanted, and if they're kept out of reach, if they're prevented, well, do you guys see? Then what if a negative occurred? We didn't get our desire, negatives happen. Then they can start targeting the areas in our existence where we don't actually want to use our powers. I say that each of us have strengths and capabilities which, if we use them, we can create new threads in this grand tapestry called life. Remember, like I said, we're the actors in this play. But, let's go back to that, actually. That was a good part. That I don't want to lose that one. That was a great part. You see, I was already getting ahead of myself, but it doesn't matter, actually. I just want people to understand that we don't use our powers anymore because they create destruction events. So then we forget. But why am I going back? Because it's just something fun. Today is about fun. Today's not about optimum. Today wasn't even something that I was planning. You guys see, I'm not worried about what I cover and what I don't, but there are certain things that I'm like, ah, that part is fine. So for myself, I'm saying, guys, if we don't know when something is going to begin, if we don't know when something is going to be released, if we don't know what's going to be the final version, what if all this part, guys, right now actually isn't being streamed? And I'm like, oh no. Yeah, of course that would be a little unfortunate. But you guys see, that's fine. I could just keep going. I could just keep talking. You see, if I learned it now, it could cause a deviation. That's what I call the destruction. It could cause a problem. It could start making me modify how I operate. Do you guys understand? So if we don't know, you see, if we're operating outside of things being known, what's being known, then for the first time we can just continue. Imagine if every movie that's created from now on, like, or the play or the thing, is just people are like, you're just doing. Everyone's just doing. You just have to do. People are like, you mean I have to be on at all times? Like, people would even use that phrase, and I'm saying, guys, that the reason why that phrase is demonized or viewed as a negative is because most of us aren't operating freely. Most of us aren't operating, creating time itself or creating existence itself. Most of us are molding ourselves and crafting ourselves to be the specific thread that they want us to be at that set time, based on either the negatives or the positives that are presented to us previously. So that's why people say, oh, you mean I have to be on at all times? I'm saying, guys, if you're actually operating outside of what's known, and you're just being yourself, that you're always on. You're not, you see, you don't change. There's no mask present. There's no mask. You don't need one. It doesn't mean that you see, because then people take it to the extreme. They're like, well, look at you. Like, didn't you brush your hair today or something like that? I'm like, sure. But you guys understand? There's no mask present. I'm operating exactly the same way. I could mess up my hair right now. I don't need to. But you guys see, the people who take it to that extreme are the people who get threatened, who get a negative when I say what I say. You guys understand? And that negative is what makes them become the known thread. They can't create existence anymore, because if anyone ever says to them, hey, can you just be yourself the entire time, 24/7, operate exactly the same way, regardless of if you're talking to the girl you want to date, your parents, or just by being alone? Are you really going to operate differently? And I'm saying, no, I won't. Not anymore. Because I'm free. I operate outside of what's known. But since most people don't do that, you guys see, if someone mentions that, it's an attack against them. It's an attack against who they are, because they know they can't do so. Because they don't understand. Remember what I said? If they don't understand, or if they misunderstand what my intention behind saying that is, they take it as an attack, and then that is used to create the destruction event within them, which then creates the negative behavior, which then creates the known. Everything's known. So now time can't be created. Now we just get back into the known timeline. We're just flowing on a known timeline, exactly taking us wherever it wants, how it wants, creating the things that it wants. But I'm saying time itself is what I guess I would say. It doesn't have emotion. It doesn't have feeling. Time is just a construct. But time can be manipulated by things, and that's the problem, is that something has identified that time itself can be manipulated. So now that we all need to become aware of that, is that we can't anymore, because there's something in this world that's malicious, that has taken it over. So that means that it makes sure that all of us get presented things that it knows it already had previously installed within us, to create the misunderstandings, to create the desires, to create the destruction events, so that then we are become a known chess piece. Do you guys see that? A known thread in the tapestry. And then once we're the known thread, it then pushes us into the river of time. All right, now go. Well, if you don't know how to flow through time, if you don't know how to swim through time, well, you're just going to let it take you to wherever you go. So you might bump into rocks, you might bump into crates. I'm thinking like Last of Us. And there's nothing you can do. You're like, oh my gosh, why are we over here right now? Why are we over here right now? I have no idea, but I just have to respond. I just have to survive. I just need to feel better temporarily. I need to do these things. You guys see, what if all of a sudden I just told all of you, hey guys, I didn't want to say anything. I probably shouldn't have even said anything now, but I'm going to, because I just want you guys to be proud of yourselves. But all of you every action that you guys have been doing, every single thing that you guys have been saying right now, because let's say like we were like in the back rooms, like we were talking to each other, like we were like almost like actors, like think Masca, and we were like preparing for this great play or show or whatever movie, and no one thinks that it's actually like there's no camera present. You guys understand? There's no camera present, so no one could even conceptualize that. Wait, it's been recording this entire time. It's been live this entire time. This is already like, I'm like, so people were just free. You guys understand? They were just operating freely. They might have said things that they would normally not say. They might have been hopefully they were just doing good. If they're not, then that shows you who they actually are. So which means that there's a mask present. If they can't always operate good, it means that they have to get presented good or bad to mold them into the thread that the world wants them to be. I'm saying if you actually understand this knowledge, you can create time and existence itself. You're always operating good regardless. It doesn't mean that sometimes you don't have to respond if you're actually getting attacked by something that's trying to corrupt or trying to destroy. Of course, then we have to protect ourselves, but we still have to be careful. But ideally, we want to create situations where we just are creating our own thing so that then we never have to flow in the time river. We are creating the river of time itself. So what I'm saying, guys, is imagine if I told all of you, I'm like, yeah, actually, the world is, there's been things in this world that are watching it. I think of like Xenoblade 3, like Zed, and he's literally, there's like an entity that's just watching us, every single thing that we're doing. And they're just watching the show. It's a fun show. Sometimes it's like, wow, this is kind of boring. And wow, there's a lot is happening. This is really interesting. And all of you are like, wait a minute, there's things like the world is watching us. I'm like, yeah, guys, everything you guys just did over the past 3 days, everything was live. That's the movie, and this is where we're gonna end the movie. People are like, wait, what? If I knew, I would have dressed differently. I would have operated differently. I would have drank water from a different mug. I didn't wear my necklace. I wanted to talk about that one thing. What do you mean? And you guys see like all this starts happening, and people, I'm like, that doesn't mean that if we know that we can't create even better. You see, I'm not saying that that's not, you see, most people view it as a negative. I'm saying it could be a positive. Hey, we know we could create even better. You're not wrong. I talked about it yesterday, but where the problem lies is that if we know now, you guys see that the possibility to reach 100, our performance of 100 is possible. But now our possibility to have a significantly worse performance, like 50 to 60, is also known now. And it's because of what we know is happening. You see, guys, there was no fear present, there was no destruction present, there was no desire present because no one was on. They were just operating, but that's how it should be. That's how it should be if we're all free, if we're operating outside of what's known. I'm telling you guys, then we can set things in motion. But if all of a sudden everyone's behavior changes, if I'm like, all right, I'm recording, guys, and everyone's behavior changes, this is the only personal one I'm going to throw in, but I think anyone can think about it. Think back to like your childhood when there was like home videos recording. And I'm saying, guys, if someone is recording from a distance, like I'm thinking like in Miami, and then all of a sudden they say, all right, children, we're recording, like everyone now will change. But if I was like the dad and I'm recording my kid play pin the tail on the donkey, do you guys get it? If they don't know, they're just operating freely. They get to create the threads rather than becoming the thread that something else wants. I'm saying that once things are known, once things are expected, once things are set up preemptively, seasoned or not, you can just tell. For example, guys, I had to create a deviation right there just so people are aware this is really good knowledge. But now I know when I have to do that, when I have to protect myself, just so people understand, when I have to protect myself, it means that I temporarily walked the path of, I'm going to call it today the Void Dragon, but the Void Dragon created a known situation. And I didn't even realize it, because what I'm saying is that once in a while the void dragon gets access to us, and like it submits something, like it submits something to my head that says, hey, I want you to now tell everyone that you're recording a new live stream, or that you're an actor in this play in Alexandria or in Dalmasca, or things of that nature. I'm like, all right. And you don't realize it because it's just happening so quickly. So that's why I'm saying, as it's so challenging. So then when it happens, all of a sudden, what you guys realize is that I'm like, oh, I can now tell, because I operate so slowly. I call it the compression of time zone. Like, you know, like I'm Squall and Griever, my shepherd tells me my shepherd coat today, and I can like slow down time, and I can all of a sudden see when I'm a thread, right, guys? But I'm a thread that creates all the other threads outside of the tapestry. Like, I'm adding to it. Yet I also can throw darts, Tifa style, and wherever there's in that tapestry, and add to whenever there's a missing piece somewhere, or I think in Divinity, right? The grand gold thing with zigzags. And I can do that. I can just add to something. I can do that. But what I'm saying, guys, is that I can now tell that all of a sudden I'm always outside of the tapestry, right? Because I can set things into motions anywhere I want. Because what I want everyone to understand is that if you don't operate with what's been presented to you, seasoned to you, you don't operate based on desire, you don't operate based on the end outcome, you don't operate based on destruction events, you don't operate based on what you need or what you don't need anymore. You just are. And when that's the case, is all of a sudden you can realize when something pulls you back into the great tapestry of life, or the play and the actor, and they're like, all right, now we're live, guys. 3, 2, 1, cut, go. This is going to be the one that gets released to the public, so make it count. And you're like, oh. I drink water from this mug again when we're live. That's right. All right, where were we? And all of a sudden, I'm telling you guys, you can feel it. There's like, it creeps up on you. And when that happens, I'm saying is that there's more negatives that get presented all of a sudden, and it's not. There's nothing you can do about it. Just so people aware, because you can't. If you get lost trying to prevent every single time they do this, you're never going to be able to create anymore. You see, then that's where I would get lost and get stuck, because I would always try to prevent the void dragon that's trying to make me become a known threat again. And when that happened, I then became a known threat. Do you guys get it? Because then all my actions were dictated based on trying to make sure that I don't do what it wants. So I'm always just hyper-focused on that. I'm saying that sometimes you're going to accidentally walk into what they wanted. I'm like, but now I can catch it when it's presenting. I'm like, I have to deviate, but I have to protect myself. I'm saying the more negatives that happen like that, it's because we accidentally walked into a path that they had set up, and it's fine. There's nothing you can do about it. You just do your best, but then you realize, I have to be careful here. Let's jump back outside of the play, and we now have to operate as if we're live. Or no, we don't know that we're live. We don't know that the daughter of the grandson is watching. We don't know that my parents are watching us. Do you guys see? Like, that's the actual secret. That's the solution to everything. Because then our behavior doesn't change. And I'm saying my behavior essentially gets modified by maybe 0.5% to 1%. So, because I've defeated it. But do you guys hear what I'm saying? It's still a 0.5 to 1% modification. In the past, I used examples where I'm like, think about it, guys. If right now there's such a powerful windstorm that a plane is being deviated, or an airship, by 1 degree. But you guys understand that if there's a lengthy train ride somewhere, and there's a 1 degree deviation, or the tracks are being moved 1 inch every single second, eventually, if it's a 1-day trip, you guys understand that by the end, we're going to be in a different location than we thought. And that's what ends up happening, is that those small deviations matter. For most of us, they're major deviations. If I say to all of you right now, I'm like, hey, I'm going to interview you, I'm going to release this to the public, all of you are immediately going to operate differently. 100%, there's going to be, it's not a 1% deviation, it's going to be most likely 70 to 100% deviation. You're going to be completely different, because you all are afraid of how you appear. You're all afraid of what could happen, but you're also curious, and you desire the good that could come from it as well. Do you guys see? You guys have both a negative thing that prevents you, and you have a positive thing that changes how you behave. So you see, they have both a negative control mechanism and a positive control mechanism, and then that makes you become a completely known threat rather than an unknown one. And then it's over. Each and every one of you. I'm saying, guys, that's how it is. All you can test it anywhere. I could literally go somewhere. I'm like, hey guys, we're recording. We're making a movie right now, or you guys are actors in a play called Life in Alexandria or Dalmasca. And everyone's like, oh, quick, all right. I didn't know we were doing this. I'm like, people might even say that. Do you guys understand? I didn't know we were doing this. What that is they're putting on their mask. They're putting on their mask. When they say that, that's actually them putting on their mask, because you caught them off guard. They weren't ready. They weren't prepared. But that means that now, when they say that, it's the first step. The void dragon's like, uh-oh, and it shoots lasers. I'm thinking like Call of Guard. And if the laser reaches it, the person, the individual, as they're putting on their mask, now the mask is being shaped and controlled by all the negatives and all the positives that have been installed in them throughout their entire life. And when that happens, it's over. Do you guys understand? This is so good. This is awesome. And then at that point, it's over. Because now they're within the thread, or within the tapestry, and they're getting slotted in exactly precisely where they need it, which means they're going to now enslave people, they're going to enable certain things that they want, and they're going to prevent things that they don't want. So for example, they now believe that things have to operate a certain way. If anyone's operating outside of their confines, the known things that they believe are how it should be, they're going to immediately try to prevent that. Like, they might even, like, if let's say like actors are like Blank and Baku and Zidane are talking, those are different actors, and while someone else is talking, let's say Princess Garnet, who we need to save in this play of life, is currently talking, all of a sudden, like, the other character's going to talk to them and be like, hey, you need to stop doing that. We're live, you know that? You can't do those things. And you're like, oh, okay, all right. Does that sound familiar, guys? Like, all of a sudden, if there's a quiet moment, and you're not, like, currently in the spotlight, like, think like your spotlight's... When the light isn't on you, all of a sudden, other people are going to, like, approach you and be like, it's that they're serving the void dragon. They got hit by the laser, and now the mask is on, and now everything that they do, all their behaviors and all their responses and all those things that they do are to make sure to start making you become the known thread in the tapestry of life on the play, because now that they know that things are live, they're known what the consequences are and what the positives are. And I'm saying they don't, but that's what's basically been installed in them. They believe now this is what could happen, this is what can't happen. Shit, my girl's watching. And then it's over, guys. Do you guys understand? That's all I need to do. It could even be not true. But you can test it out with anyone and be like, hey guys, yeah, I saw your mom in the audience. Could be a lie. But you say that to someone, I'm saying their behavior and how they operate is going to change. Those are not accidents. Do you guys understand? Those are not accidents. Those are to make sure that someone cannot operate freely anymore, because there's certain things that were installed within us throughout our entire life that were meant to be events and situations that make sure that we stop operating from outside the tapestry, or because they want us to always be within. If we're always just letting time dictate where we go and where we flow to, we can't mold and shape time to be the river that we want. You guys get it? So it means that the stories are now known. The situations that occur, the lessons that occur, the problems and the good that happen are all known. Which means that that's exactly what something wants, because then it's like, all right, well, we want this today. We want the play to end like this today. We want the princess to not be saved today, and we want the bad guys to win. All right, so how can we make sure that happens? Well, we know that the hero is weak to, like, a black wizard that has an ice walrus monster. So we're going to present that today. Help me find that thread, guys. Where can we find that thread that has that? Does anyone know where like someone is practicing like occult magic and maybe they have like a pet walrus? You guys understand? Like all of a sudden you guys are thinking about that. Like, where could I find that? Ah, okay. Let's call it the Black Waltz. Maybe we can listen to some trance. And all of a sudden we slot that in, and now the hero has the adverse reaction and has the negative reactions. You guys see, now they are not creating time anymore. They're not just operating freely. Now it's a known thing. Doesn't mean that if you see, because then if other things get presented, what if the hero had maybe like a childhood friend or something like that, or maybe I call it like someone like a dragon knight that has like a spear, and they show up all of a sudden, they're like, no, we got this. So you see, guys, now there's a balance. Now there's an epic conflict. Now There's, oh, well, are they going to win, or are they going to overcome, or are they going to lose? You see now that the scales got equalized, but really, if everything's a known variable, they're not. We think it seems like there's a clash, a conflict, a question mark, it's not known, but they're like, no, the Dragon Knight is she's such a great child of friend, so powerful that she completely outscales and trivializes this black mage walrus enemy. It doesn't seem that way, but it really is, because of all the experiences that they've had together. So let's say if I had to put in a grade scale, right? It's like now that the odds are 70% to 30 in the hero's favor. It doesn't seem that way, but it actually is. Do you guys understand? Because of the invisible variables that are present. So when that happens, you guys see, like, everyone's like, oh my god, are they going to win or they're not? Who knows? Oh. But then the hero wins, and I was like, oh wow, that's awesome. We didn't know. We were uncertain for a moment if things were going to result, but that's so cool. That was such a great story. Wow, that was such a great play. What I'm saying, guys, is that it was completely known. And if I would have prevented the Dragon Knight lady from showing up, people are like, oh my gosh, will the hero overcome? The heroes overcome so much, but they lose. And people are like, what? They lost to that? It doesn't make any sense. I'm saying it's because of everything that had happened throughout their entire life, and what has been known now is that if they can present their specific things that they need, based on like their desires, their fears, destruction events, what they've misunderstood, and what they don't understand is really what it is that I've now pieced together. So if we don't understand something, and then we've misunderstood something intentionally, because how can a misunderstanding be created? It's intentional, guys. A misunderstanding needs to be created intentionally. So when that happens, all of a sudden the hero loses, and people are like, what? They lost to that? Oh man. So that's how the play could go. But what if I have the Black Mage Walrus character present, I have the Dragon Knight lady present, I have the hero present, I have the Princess Garnet present, I have all the actors are there. But they think that they're on break right now. Guys, we're not live, so just have fun. Just how would you guys? I'm like, I could even say like, how would you guys write the story if we just could we just like play it out, guys? I don't know. I mean, I guess let's just have fun. Because you see, like, maybe we're passionate about being actors in the game of life and the tapestry of life. Like, let's just play it out. Like, yeah, let's do it. And everyone's just operating, and you're like, oh my gosh, the walrus lost right away, the ice walrus. And they're like, wait, what? The ice walrus lost right away? Like, yeah. But while it did that, the walrus, like, bit the Dragon Knight lady. And she fell as well. So now the story is, like, completely disrupted. People are like, what? This is so crazy. This is the craziest, coolest story I've ever heard. Like, what direction are we even going? I'm like, who knows? So you guys see, when that's happening, now people are like, they don't even know what to do. So then maybe the Princess Garnet sees this and she's like, oh my gosh, I was actually cheering for the walrus. You know what? Now I'm mad at the hero because you defeated the walrus. So now she sides with like the black mage. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Is that, and I'm just watching this from the distance because I set it into motion because I'm operating outside of the tapestry of life, outside of the play, and they don't know, all the variables are unknown. I know them all. Do you guys understand? I might know them all. I know that we're actually going to live streaming this, or this play has an audience, or that this is the actual final release, but we didn't tell them. You don't know that. And all of a sudden, the princess is like, just betrays the hero, or like, you guys aren't, like, I could just keep going. My point is, all of a sudden people, then the actors like even laugh, like, oh my god, this is actually really fun. That was so cool. And then I'm like, and that's a wrap. And they all turn and like, what? What did you say? I'm like, yeah. And all of a sudden the curtains open up and you hear a round of applause. Octopath. They're like, wait, what? that was actually, oh, and then all of a sudden, you guys, I didn't know that we were performing for an audience or live stream. And remember what I said, guys, when someone says that, the mask is being put on. And the void dragon shot a laser and they got hit. They're like, hey, you guys need to bow. Remember, you have to do your special signature move when at the end of our play, after the end of our performance. Go, one by one, all of you, go. And you made that person like pushes someone and like, oh, that's right. Thank you for enjoying the show. Thank you. You next, go. You guys get what I'm saying? Is that all of a sudden now, it's known. And when that happens, it makes me smile because I just now see it. I now know whenever people are putting on their mask. It's fucking hilarious. I'll never be able to unsee it now. I'm like, holy shit, that means they got hit by the laser and they're putting on their mask. So when they start doing that, it's because the mask is on. So it means that now they got slotted back in to the tapestry of life, and now they're just flowing into time, in the river of time, wherever it takes them, Bobby Corman. And now they're just they have no say in the matter anymore. You guys understand? Because now they're responding based on all the variables that have been installed with them from day one. The fear events, the destruction events, the misunderstandings, the things that they've understood. But you guys see now, they're like, oh my god, all these people are watching. What are they going to say? So to ground it a little bit for myself even right now, is that I have no idea how many people consume my things anymore. I don't. And I'm saying, guys, for many reasons. I'm not going to get lost in them. Let's just say that my numbers change. Let's just put it that way. If every day what you are watching or what you create has a variance, some days, let's say, it might have 10 million, and the next day it has 2 million, and the next day it has 15, and then the next day it has 3. You're like, wait, what? Then you realize, actually it's completely irrelevant, because that means that things are arbitrary. You guys understand? That means it doesn't even matter. But they'll kind of try to make us care about that, right? But it has to be through a repeated thing that got installed within us to make us believe that it's a misunderstanding or something we don't understand. Like, wait, why did that happen today and not yesterday? Why did I get 10 million today but only 1 million tomorrow? Like, what? You see, like, that's how they can cause problems. They can make us put our mask on again so that we operate a specific way. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that sometimes we won't fall or fail and become the known threat again. It's going to happen to all of us. But we have to always be trying to mold time itself. We are the ones who compress time. We can't let time compress us. But I'm saying there's something in this world that's trying to do so consistently and always finds ways. And now I'm realizing that its preferred method of doing so is by providing information. Now I actually understand what it is that's how they do it. If they make some things known, and by the way, guys, it could be a misunderstanding. Remember what I said, guys? It doesn't actually have to be real. It doesn't have to be actual reality. It just can be a misunderstanding. It could just be they can make something appear a certain way, and they're like, oh, we have an audience, and then all of a sudden, imagine, guys, that play that we had talked about, where all of a sudden the curtain opened and people clapped, and all of a sudden the guy or the girl or whatever, let's say Zidane, had the mask on. And he's like, oh, guys, you have to do this now. You have to remember to bow and do your signature move. And then all of a sudden, after all of them do that, I like snap my finger once. But I'm like, no, this time I'm not going to snap my finger. I'm just going to do the fists. Final Fantasy. And when that happens, all of a sudden, the crowd disappears. The audience disappears. And I'm like, ha! Got you! They weren't real either. You guys understand, in that moment, the Zidane, in this case, the actor, might actually get angry, might actually get mad. Now that the mask changes yet again. You guys understand? Because now they're going to feel like they were made a fool. Now they're going to feel like the mockery was happening. You guys understand? Like, they got exposed. Like, ha! So you care about those things. I knew it. You care about those things. You're try to act like you don't. You don't care what people think and that you're above all this stuff, but you do. So you see, in one way, it's fun, right? To expose someone's mask. There is enjoyment there, but you guys understand that could be, doesn't really accomplish anything unless it now allows, in this case, the actors of Dane to finally break free and realize, wait a minute, why did I change my behavior if the audience wasn't even real? I thought they were, but they're not. Why did that make me change my behavior? Like, oh, I should decipher that and deconstruct that and destroy that so that I can finally be the one who molds time and creates time. I can operate outside of what's known, so I can set things in motion for good and not be a known thread that creates the negatives or the good based on the things that are presented. You guys see that means that I'm essentially serving as the light void dragon in this situation. I'm exposing the things that make them change their behavior. But I'm saying that's still not enough. Ideally, we want to just make sure that everyone's free so they can create time itself rather than just getting pushed into the river of time and letting it take them where they just are forced to. Because I'm saying, in this case, that actor, every time they put on their mask, they just fall into the river, and their actions and their responses are just natural. They are already predetermined. They're guaranteed, and that's why I said, guys, I always thought that I grew to believe that life was predetermined, and it's because for the most part it is. Because to most people, when a specific thing presents, when information is given to them, once a certain thing is known, now they fall into the river and they operate it. They just let it take them exactly where it's going to take them. I think of Water Temple and Zelda and avoiding the little whirlpools. It's just, there's nothing you guys can do once I give you information and it changes your behavior. And I'm saying that is what darkness, the void dragon today is what we're calling it, does. Is that it presents specific things to us so that we now know. And once we know, we try to target the areas where misunderstandings can happen, and they try to target the areas where we might not understand something fully. And if they can do that, they usually try to bring back old destruction events, and then they can destroy us again through that. And I'm saying, as when that happens, our mask gets created for us again. We put it on again, usually out of protection. Do you guys understand? Usually the mask that gets placed or gets put on is not out of malice or vindictiveness. It's actually out of protection. Now, the behaviors and the actions that result after, though, usually are bad, because they're not able to choose anymore. They put on the mask because they have to. And I'm saying that's how they do it. It's because of information that's presented. That's just how it's done. And so that tells me that once things are presenting things, trying to let people, hey, I just want to let you know, I am going to now view that phrase in a different light. I'm going to start analyzing that a little bit more. I'm not going to get lost there, but I'm going to now pay attention. If I ever am interacting with something or someone, and they just all of a sudden volunteer information out of nowhere, specific ones, I'm going to just be like, very interested. Why are they doing that? And I'm saying, for most people now, I understand that what is ending up happening is that they're trying to enslave people without them even knowing it. They're serving the void dragon, is what it is. I always viewed suggestions as a negative, and now I even view them more negative. And now I see what it is that they volunteer specific information so that they can present key things that cause people to put the mask on. That's what it is. They're seeking to present specific information to people that's going to make them put the mask on. That's what they're trying to do. Because I'm telling you guys, I have no idea how many people are currently watching this. All right, I don't know if my audience is real or not at all. Now I've defeated it. But do you guys understand that if I all of a sudden found out that 1 million people are watching right now, I would have to defeat it right then again, because my old mask will appear for a second. I've completely defeated it, so I'm going to be able to 99.9% defeat it. But now, remember what I said, guys, There's a 0.1% deviation that's present. I'm telling all of you that every talk in the world would be better if everyone thought there was no one listening, no audience. Because then there's no variables that are known that are making them operate a specific way. So that means now, because that means what they're saying is going to be different. How they say it is going to be different. What gets set into motion is not going to be the same anymore. And I'm saying that they might just be like, hey, remember that you're talking to people that have suffered losses. So make sure you're a little kinder. Do you guys understand that I'm saying when you get that suggestion to you, when that gets presented to you, I'm saying that that's the darkness void dragon shooting its laser to try to make you put on a mask. Because now you know things, and once you know things, you're operating within the known. When you're operating within the known, you can't just set things in motion. So that they try to grab your thread that's able to create a million other threads and add to the tapestry. Now they're like, we need you right there. We need that version of you that helps people that have been suffering, that have experienced losses, because you know you have. And then someone else might be like, yeah, actually, Shepherd Star, the Star Diplomat, he's experienced a lot of losses. He's overcome them. So he knows he knows really well how to help people who have. And you see, like, you didn't even say a word, and you just hear this, and you're like, whoa. Two things just got presented to me. Someone just overtly suggested that I'm talking to people that have suffered losses, and someone else said that I'm really good at dealing with people or handling people that have, because I have. You guys see what I'm trying to say? Is that it was a 1 + 2. Now the situation is known, but they're also trying to make how I operate be known as well. Do you guys understand? They're trying to bring back that version of myself. You're like, wait a minute, what? All right, now we drink from the known mug. So you see, now I can't drink water from the coffee mug that the Grand Summoner, the daughter of the Grand Summoner, brought me. Does that make sense? Sad reality is that the majority of people, if anyone of my imaginary audience ended up watching this or listening to this, is that most people didn't follow along. And that's not only fine, it's good. Because it means that they're not there yet. They'll get there eventually, but not yet. But I know I'm going to re-listen to this, and I'm going to be proud of myself that I created something right now that was completely outside of the boundaries. There were times when they would pull me back into the tapestry, and I was like, whoa. But I immediately jumped back out. I now know it's possible. It's not easy. I just want people to be aware. For someone who's not only aware of this, who's explaining it actively, which means that, because what I'm telling you guys, for example, yesterday I was explaining that, wow, giving up is the solution, so that we can just do, because then we're free. When we give up, we're free. So I'm saying when I'm talking about it actively and I'm re-listening to it and I'm re-experiencing it and it's more recent, it's much easier to operate that way, guys. I'm telling you. It is, but I'm like, does that mean that I have to consistently, like, let's say I have to listen to today's stream and yesterday's stream over and over again to continue to operate that way? I might have to. But you guys, even if I understand it, wow, that's not easy then. Think about it. All of you are like, oh yeah, I know all these things you're saying. Don't put on the mask. Don't respond to the when they present things like that. When they give you all of a sudden a known, they give you information to make something known. And it's usually tied to something that can become a misunderstanding, or something you don't fully understand yet, or something related to a destruction event, or something related to maybe even one of your positives or what you're good at, that they're trying to make you operate within the confines of what's known, so that you can't create time itself anymore. You just fall into the river and you're flowing the way they see fit. And you're like, I know that. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if you do. I'm saying, guys, is that we all will temporarily forget. Especially, you guys hear what that? Think back to that example I said. That all of a sudden I say, surprise, actors. I know you guys wanted to explore the desert kingdom of Dalmasca, and you guys thought that we were going to do the live performance tomorrow, but actually it was happening right now. People are like, wait, what? We didn't follow the script at all. We did everything wrong. The outcome was the princess guard to turn on the hero. The ice walrus lost right away. He bet the dragon knight lady. We had trance music playing. I'm like, yeah, it was freaking phenomenal. I didn't know you guys could create that way. They're like, wait, what? So you see, maybe I'm seeing there is some value to disrupting people like that. But at the same time, I know that there's a danger there because, you see, once you do that, it doesn't matter if someone's healed or not. It's just that it's still going to cause now the mask event to happen. I call it that all of a sudden, everyone now puts in their mask. Now, if you presented it correctly, if you presented the right A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F, there's a good chance that this time when they put on their mask, they're going to be like, wait a minute, I have nothing to fear. And they put it down again. That's possible. But you guys understand that means that it's a roll of the dice. And that's not something that we should be trying to have happen. Because then it's not up to us anymore. I'm saying, guys, we pushed them to the river of time. And all of a sudden, they this time they had like a turtle Kojin underwater breathing spell that lets them just survive. Or maybe they decided to talk to the Zoras, and now they can dive and jump out of the water like a dolphin. It doesn't matter. You guys see, but what if we didn't know that they had those powers? So that means that we did something we thought that was for good, but the outcome is now dependent on, well, did they manage to use those powers this time? Because if they didn't, they're going to put on the mask and it's not going to go well. See, I'm saying, guys, presenting information like that, giving them known things, is just always dangerous. Like, that's what it makes me really sad, because what I'm saying, guys, is that if everyone's operating without knowing, just as a quick interrupt for myself, just because I've been staying on that path a little too long, that story. I think of it like, if I'm playing a multiplayer game for myself, I've talked about it in my other streams, but League of Legends, but if I tell people, hey guys, I'm streaming this game, I'm telling all of you is that everyone's play and performance changes. There's some that actually play better, but there are many that perform worse. I always thought it before was just that their focus is now being controlled by it. It is, but do you guys understand that it causes a deviation? Now they get pushed into the river of time, into the thread gets placed in the known tapestry of life that's like, you care what people think because we created these negative events, people laughed at you in these situations, or whenever people watch you, you always perform even better because you thrive under pressure or stuff like that, and people say that to you, so now you're like, I gotta perform. I'm like, maybe there's a beautiful girl watching. You guys understand? Like, so in that case, you got installed positives there. So then if you get known, if the known variable presents that people are watching your performance today when you're playing this or doing this, you play better, but other people are like, oh no, now people might laugh at me, and they're gonna think that I'm bad or that I do weird strategies. I don't know about that. Do you guys understand? So that means that then when the mask event happens, now that you have that known information, now you can't create time anymore. You fall into the river, and the result of that is now guaranteed. Because I'm saying, as I tested it out a few times, and I would say things like that, and I'm telling you guys, it doesn't matter if it was real or not, but I just said it, and I always noticed that those versions, that game that I've then proceeded to play with these other 4 players was always different. I'm just saying it was just different. Doesn't mean it was always better, doesn't mean it was always worse, but I could be like, wow, I could just tell that there's drastic behavioral changes. And I'm saying it's because now I understand what it is that by presenting that known information, they cannot create time anymore. They can't mold time and existence for themselves. Now it teleports them to being a known thread in the tapestry. So that means that they're just literally letting the water and the waves push them to wherever it takes them. Like, which way are we going? I don't know, I can't choose. Or I think like Oregon Trail. That you can't even choose anymore. And that's how it happens. And I'm just saying, then it's when that happens, each person's then actions from then on become just, it's a guarantee based on everything that they've experienced and what's been installed in them. What they don't understand, what has destroyed them, what has helped them, what has been a misunderstanding. And it's just, do you guys see? Because then the story is just known. If I have everyone on one team that only will respond well to that they're like, ooh, yeah, I've always contemplated streaming. People love it when I do my crazy flashy plays. But now you guys see, now they're going to even take more risks. So we might lose that game now because all those people are going to be like, well, I want to make more risks. I want to be the reason that everyone's like, wow, who is that guy who's playing that well? I'm like, who's making that strategy? Who's doing that? Do you guys see? That means that our behavior is now different. The way we operate is now different. So all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone is just doing these stupid things now. They're taking these unnecessary risks. They're doing all this stuff. I'm like, why? I'm like, it's because I said that I was streaming. But what if I then told all of them at the end of the match? I'm like, hey guys, I just want you to know, I wasn't streaming at all. For most people, it's gonna feel weird for them. Do you guys get it? It's gonna feel weird because all of a sudden they realize that they fell into a perceived river of time, a flow, and they let it take them to locations that they didn't even choose. And I'm saying in this situation, I'm presenting it in a good light that the person, these 4 players that I was playing with on this team played better. That's like the ideal situation. Maybe we lost though because they took too many risks. But let's not even do that. Maybe we just won. It was completely one-sided because I said that, and they all played amazingly. I'm like, whoa. We should tell them every single time that we're streaming these 4 players, and we're gonna be unstoppable then. Do you guys see that means that it's guaranteed? It's a known variable now. That means that the way we operate.
I think taxes are something that makes all of us panic, whether or not you admit it. Being able to pass my tax.
So, this is a great point to take a break. And then I'm going to talk about everything that I just shared in one other way, another format. But this first segment is a part that I'm extremely proud of myself. It was fun. It was different. It was interesting. I've learned things. I now understand things. I understand the benefit of creating time rather than falling into the river of time. It really does change things for me. It makes me understand that 99% of things are not harmless. Even more so, I used to say that nothing is harmless. Everything's ignorable, but nothing's harmless. I believe that, and now I believe it even more because I now know that. You see, guys, I always thought that negatives were the main problem. or pauses, and if you start a path. But I'm saying, guys, it's not even that. That's the main culprit. But if they can just present a known piece of information to all of you, it changes things. It pushes you into a river, and our mask gets put on, and there's nothing that we can do. I'm telling all of you, it doesn't matter how good you are. You have to destroy it. But think about that. It's still temporarily. You have to then use your powers to get out of the water. And then you're like, all right, now I'm good again. But do you guys see? It's not easy. So what I've realized is that the real power is anything that can operate outside the confines of what's known. Because even then, if things present, they can revert. So just to end this segment, think of it like I tell, like halfway through their performance with the walrus and all that stuff like that, that all of a sudden I say, oh, by the way, guys, I put up a sign and with big letters and say, hey guys, we're live. The audience is watching, just so you guys know. Keep up the great performance. This is amazing. When that happens, guys, do you understand that now they know information? Now it's no. They're like, oh, wait, this is actually live. This is actually the one that's going to be released to the public. Oh no. I wasn't fully prepared. I don't know all my lines. I didn't dress up. I didn't do my hair the way I wanted. Whatever, guys, you get it? So I'm saying, guys, that when that happens, most of us can't escape anymore. The tapestry. Most of us can't escape the flow of time. We just let it take us wherever it takes us. And I'm saying that we have to do a little bit of a deconstruction. We have to use a little bit of our power, and we have to reset and be able to go back outside of the tapestry. And now, instead of becoming a known thread, we're the one that gets to weave the threads. You guys get that? Even in that situation, let's say every single actor responds really well. But let's say now the Princess Garnet sees that, and she smiles. She's like, "This is pretty awesome, actually." And like, she has a reflection moment. She's like, "Ah, this is a really good performance. Now that I really think about it, everyone's on fire." Because you see, none of them were worried about things. But now, since that's in her head, she's like, you know what? I'm not gonna actually. I'm not gonna betray the hero, but instead I'm gonna pretend to betray the hero. But then I'm actually going to stab the Black Mage, because that would even be for a more epic story. Think about it. I'm gonna play both sides, because really I'm gonna stab the Black Mage at the end, and I'm gonna be the sole survivor. So let's do that. You see, I'm not saying that that's a bad result of the storyline. You guys see? But what ended up getting created, what ended up happening, is that now she modified the creation, her behavior, her path, based on the new information that was now known. That sign that said, hey guys, this is actually the one that's being released to the public. We're live right now as is. There's an audience watching. When the mask event happened, she didn't use it to get destroyed or become bad or fearful or have a negative performance. On the contrary, she's now using it to make herself perform even better. But do you guys get that that means that it's still now changed? She's not just creating freely anymore. It doesn't mean that so think of like she fell into the river temporarily, and then she's like, oh, but then she went a little bit up, because now she created her own time, her own flow of time, another separate river. But do you guys get it? Now it's here. It's like at the top of the tapestry. Like this is the top. I think like the camera frame, it's at the very top. Before she was operating outside of it. Now, because of what happened, it's better than before. It's even better than what she was creating before. It is. But you guys understand? Now it's within the tapestry. Now it's within the tapestry. It's on the limit. But do you guys see? it's not, she would never have created that way or done that way if I wouldn't have presented that sign to her that said, hey, this is what's actually happening right now. Do you guys see that presenting known information, it causes problems for most people? Because what she would have to do then is be like, you know what? Nah, we gotta just keep going. You know, we just gotta do something completely different now. But you see how it's never, it's not easy, because in a way I'm saying, guys, is that that timeline of when we were outside the tapestry or outside of everything is now is destroyed. Do you guys get it? It's destroyed. That timeline, that flow of the river is destroyed because we're creating our own flow, our own river, but it's now destroyed. It doesn't exist anymore. They push us back into theirs. We jump out, but now we can't return to the previous one we were operating in. You guys get it? It's gone. It's impossible to. Because what they want us to do is they want us to revert back to it, and now, but it'll never be the same. You guys get it? It's modified. So if they ever push you back into something by presenting specific information, you have to just blow up everything and start something completely new. Just so you guys are aware, it's the only solution. That's what I'm realizing when I listen to this part. I'm going to be surprised. It's the answer. When they destroy anything and they push you back into the flow of time, their time, based on presenting some variables and some information, you can't just continue with what you were doing before when you're completely free. Doesn't mean that you can destroy theirs immediately. It's possible, but you can't now revert back to what you were doing, because if you do, it's never going to be the same, and now it's going to be modified by that. You just have to destroy everything, go outside of the tapestry, and be like, all right, now let's create new threads. Because otherwise, you guys get it, that you're still creating your own flow of time, but now you're a known thread rather than an unknown thread that's being able to create, that's setting into motion that aren't even planned, aren't even known. That's the answer. All right, I'm just gonna get more water. I still have some, but I want to have a little more for this. I'm just gonna do one more push here and try to talk about these things in one go. But I might not, I might will. Who knows? All right. What's up? All right, let's do this. So, I'm gonna add my initial debrief that I usually how I end my stream here before I continue. It's not easy, is where I want to begin. Everything I said is the answer. And I say that on all my streams, by the way, because they all are. And they're all just different takes on the same concept, just so people are aware. They're different takes on the same concept, which is just really, if you boil it down to what I'm deciphering, is that how can we get to the point where we can choose, we can make a choice based on the things that present to us and the things that we're experiencing, good, bad, irrelevant. Point is, we just have to be able to choose, and most of us just can't, which means that we don't set things in motion, we respond to things. But you guys get, when we're responding to things, we are making things happen, but we make darkness happen. It's not for good, it's for bad. And it's a very sad thing to witness, because essentially what I've been trying to get to is, for years now, I've been trying to explain and help people for years, even more time than I thought already, for essentially 4 years. I always say it's 2, but since the destruction of really it's been 4. And I'm saying, guys, that I've been always just trying to break people free, because I realized that it's what changed my life when I was finally free, and it changed everything. Because I'm saying, guys, before that, I was always just responding based on how the things that got built up in me. And if things got presented, then I couldn't choose anymore, and I became a known chess piece. Because I've been described this first hour that how we can set things in motion is we have to create our own flow of time, our own river, and that's correct. But outside of the boundaries, we make our own additions, our own threads to the grand tapestry of life. We don't just slot in. And I'm saying that's correct, but when I was talking about that, I was almost leading myself down a path, which is that, was that the only way to set things in motion? And I'm like, no, on the contrary. The way most things get set into motion is because things are known. That's actually, it's interesting when I really listen to this, it's actually really interesting. Most things end up happening is because everything is known. That's actually why things usually end up happening, because everything is known. Because what does that do, guys? It makes us feel comfortable. It makes us feel safe. It makes us feel secure. It makes us feel like we understand everything. Everything makes sense to us. That means we can just operate. We can just walk forward, because there's no confusion. There's no, I used to call it chaos. No chaos is present. It's still a great descriptor of it. So we can just do. Because if anything does present, we know exactly how to respond. And that sounds great and all. And I'm saying all of us seek that for a reason. But what ends up happening is that whatever ends up being set into motion is not an unknown. We think it is, because we're finally doing. Because you see, most of us grade on, are we doing or not? That's what we usually grade ourselves off of. Are we doing or not? Because most of us just can't do almost everything in life. It's not that we're not capable, it's just that it feels impossible because of the things that are present. Like, oh my gosh, if an audience is watching right now, I can't stream the way I want. My mom is watching, the girl I want to date is watching. I can't talk about the same things. What is she going to think? I want to ease her into these topics. I don't want to just present these serious topics right off the bat. I want to ease her into it. And is there anything wrong with that? No. But do you guys see that that means that whatever's created and set into motion is actually not an unknown, it's known. And that is where I was getting it wrong when I was like, I mean, I didn't get anything what I've been talking about last hour wrong, but I was almost like, the only way to set things into motion is to operate outside of known. I'm saying, guys, is that the way the void dragon, the way Earth actually operates today as is that things are being set into motion only because everything is known. So actually what sets things into motion for 99% of people, 99.9% of people, is that everything is known. That's when things get set into motion. I'm saying we have to destroy that, jump out of the tapestry, jump out of the river of time that it currently exists, stay away from it for an extended period of time, destroy everything, every mask incident that happens. And when that happens, then we can return temporarily to test and see how we do. And if we see that the moment certain things get presented, we start operating as a known variable again, well, then we have to destroy everything again and create distance again and start again. Because I'm telling you guys is that it means that if they present known things, we will do. I always thought we only will do if we finally are creating our own time. We're operating outside of what is known. I'm saying that's not the case, guys. If you reach that, then you know you've succeeded. But I'm saying most of us will never get there. I always thought that's when we do it. I'm like, it's not. We're free. I guess this is just an extension of what I talked about yesterday. I guess what I'm saying is when we do when it's known, it's because we're temporarily free, but it's all the things that we know now are based on they made us give up when they chose. So then all the things are known. Anyway, I'm not going to get lost there, but it's interesting. Now I see it. It's the same thing that I'm talking about yesterday, but it's just the difference is everything is known, so we do, versus everything is not known, so we do. But the way the world is currently designed is that everything is known. That's when we do. We make sure that that's how it happens. It's fascinating. That's really interesting. So that's what I'm saying, guys. It's not easy. It's not easy because what does that lead to? It leads to there's no freedom present. There's no exploration present. There's no willingness present. There's optimal. There's safety. There's desire present. There's a need present. There is you guys see, like, we now know what we're capable of. We know what we can achieve. We just get slotted in, and people are like, but yeah, it's so that I can finally do and make progress. And you guys see, like, that's where the problem happens, is progress finally does happen in anything, and it could be for good. It could be for good. Do you guys understand? But I'm saying that even if that happens, if it's known, that means it's not free. We'll never have the answers. We'll never know everything, guys. There will always be misunderstandings. There will always be things that we don't understand. There will always be things that we don't get right. And there will always, anything that we try that even matters to us 1%, there will always be deviations. There will always be inefficiencies. There will always be unoptimal. There will always be moments. And it doesn't matter how good we get at just brushing them aside and be like, it's fine. I'm telling all of you is that you just have to learn to destroy getting pushed into the river that takes you where they want and start over again. But think about it. If this is finally the first time you're going to be able to do in whatever you're trying, guys, because then you finally know things. And the things that you don't understand, you learn just sufficient so you can push them to the side so they don't control your focus anymore. But now you can just do and operate. For the first time ever, things are going to happen. And you're correct, things are going to happen. So people are like, why would you demonize that? Why would you attack that? Why would that be a bad thing? Things are finally going to happen. Doesn't that indicate that we're free? Doesn't that indicate that we are operating outside of the river of time, that we're creating time itself, that we're creating events, that we're making the world respond to us? And I'm saying no. Because when we do, when everything is known, and just for myself, when I hear this, I know you're going to get nudged, and anyone who's listening is probably going to say things like, should that mean we should take a risk for things that we don't know? I'm saying, guys, no, that's not what this means either. Just to defeat that right away. Because see, what I'm realizing, guys, is that sometimes when they start putting thoughts into our head, is that sometimes just like, if right now they're trying to deviate your focus by like, hey, you're getting a little thirsty, remember to drink water soon. Sometimes just drinking water right then can just push that. You guys get it? Like, that's what I just did right there. Because if you let it fester, if you let it, like, some bubbles appear like in a swamp or in the water, all of a sudden it can build. And I'm just making sure that we defeated that right away. That's not the point of this right now. We're not exploring that. What we're exploring is that what we know, when we know everything, we do. Because we just understand sufficiently. You guys understand? That means that there's no risk present, so then why would we not do? You're correct, well, of course. But now what I'm realizing is that they have specific things present information to us to make things known. So they set the arena, they set the tone, they set the battle location, they set the battle music, they set the background music, they set the situation. They kind of like paint the background before we go into something. You guys get it? You're not just going. I guess I used to explore it like this. Think of it like, I use always video games for myself because it's what I do. But for any of you guys, think of it like a book. Think of it like a movie. Think about anything like that you appreciate, right? But I'm going to use video games. So I'm about to explore. I think Final Fantasy 14 or think like Divinity. We were going to explore a region. We didn't know exactly where to go because of the circumstances that we were dealing with. So we explored like the rice village, or we explored an underwater region, or we explored the spider mines, or like the goblin cliffs, without having the background story telling us what the situation is or why we should go there. And I'm saying the background adds a lot, guys. It really does. It changes the experience. Or I think even for myself, when it's first spoken, like, there's skeletons that are on the ground littered around, and there's like almost like zombies, animals and humans alike. And what I'm saying, guys, is that each of those like monsters that attacks you in that game are actually transformed animals. I think like every squirrel, bird, fish, crab that you guys see outside is actually our scout or our fly. It's actually was like, now they're like some kind of like zombie creature. I'm saying, guys, each one of those was actually a living insect. Because when we see it as like the corrupted version of it, guys, most of us view it as a bad thing. Because it is. If we just walk near it, it's going to attack us. Do you guys get it? It is a bad thing. But what I'm saying, guys, is that before it got corrupted, before it got transformed by like this dark mist or something, guys, that transformed them, that corrupted them, is that it was a living creature with a story, with cares, with emotions, with, you guys get what I'm trying to say? It was just like us, every single living thing. But it got corrupted, it got transformed. So when you're exploring this region, you are like, wow, there's a lot of enemies. But when you first you find the enemies, you might even view it as a game, a video game, and you just kill whatever's in front of you. It's an enemy to destroy. Do you guys get it? It's part of the gameplay experience. But then as you're playing, you learn, wait a minute, every single enemy got transformed, got corrupted. Those things that I just thought were like regular zombies are actually the humans that couldn't escape when the entire land got corrupted by this mist. They couldn't escape in time. Maybe their leaders, like I'm thinking Prague, the bubble, she imprisoned them in homes because they were rebelling against her. She said that this is the way to survive, and they didn't believe her. So she chose to intentionally like barricade them in their homes to prove that she was right, but she was wrong, and all of them got corrupted and became zombies. So then your character shows up there. Like, let's say you show up to these ruined villages and homes and towns, and these zombies just break down doors and attack you, and you just destroy them like nothing, like a water arrow. And most of us won't even second guess that. You're like, yeah, it's just an enemy to destroy. But what if I told you guys, hey guys, look, there's a larger zombie and a smaller zombie, and even like some kind of like four-legged creature zombie. And then there were some little skeletons littered about. And I'm saying, guys, what if I told you, hey, by the way, those three zombies you killed, the creature, the little zombie creature, and the big creature, that was a dad, his son, and his cat. And those skeletons were their family members. Maybe his wife, maybe, you guys get it, maybe he had a daughter, maybe they had dogs, and they ate them. People are like, holy shit, that's so dark. I'm like, yes, do you guys understand what I'm saying? Now I'm giving you known information. So now when you walk in there, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, oh my gosh, that's just, I don't even know if I want to kill these enemies. Like, I don't know if I want to, let's say, or maybe this character walked into the city and she saw them transform in front of her eyes. Like, these regular humans transform into the zombie, and the cat transformed right there in front of her. Do you guys understand? Or in front of us. Then also now our behavior would be different, because now we know. I'm like, wait, they were just like us and they got corrupted, they transformed. And I'm saying that if we would have explored before, like, in this case, the video game gives you that information significantly later, just so you guys understand. In the first part, you just are destroying and clearing enemies like nothing. You guys get it? So then all of a sudden, way later, you get the information that, wait, they were humans and regular animals. They all got corrupted, they got transformed. These locations that we go to are their homes. This is their habitat. You see, if I didn't have that information given to me, it wasn't known. You see, I'm just operating. At no point am I saying I'm operating better. I might be murdering these zombies, creatures, without any pity. You guys understand? But the consideration of that they were humans and regular animals doesn't even enter my head, because I don't know. So it means the way I'm operating is just free. Once it's known, do you guys get it? The way I operate, or if it's reminded, because I'm telling you guys, if I don't play that game for like a month and I play it again, I might forget. But then if all of a sudden there's, like, let's say a little chest with a note in it, and it reminds me that, oh yeah, the zombies and the skeletons, they got eaten and they got transformed. I'm like, oh yeah. So then the next enemies that I encounter, I'm like, oh wow, they got transformed. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Is that if I remind you, if I give you the background, if I give you the context of something, all of a sudden it changes things. But most of us end up forgetting that. But you guys see, if I can choose when to present that to all of you, I can make you flow into the river so that the way you operate is now known. And is that always bad if we're just experiencing something to try to, like, maybe distract ourselves or have fun or learn something? No. But are we always just doing that in our regular life? Is everything that we're doing, how we operate day by day, second by second, is it really, are we operating life? Maybe I am now, but are most of you just operating day by day as if life is just like a video game or a book that you're reading or a movie that you're watching? I don't think so. Do you guys get it? So it means that something is presenting to all of you information, is making certain things known before you do something. And when that happens, your behavior changes, either for good or for bad. But it's so you go into their known river of time that dictates how you're going to operate. So you put on the mask version of yourself, that so you become who they want when you want. And that is terrifying, guys, because I'm telling you guys, the way I tested it out, I explored like the spider goblin caves mine area and those villages in Final Fantasy without any of the background information. And I thought those areas were interesting. I could kind of piece together some of the things, but I could maybe see it. I could see these areas being used for this, but I didn't know. Do you guys understand? I didn't know the background behind it. So I had to come up with my own methods, my own approaches. But what I then realized was that when that information got presented to me, for example, I'm thinking in Final Fantasy, when I reached that village, all of a sudden the main story, the thing that's presenting me the information, it was telling me, this area, these people, they're not friendly. They're rude. They're not nice. They're not welcoming. They think that we're actually the enemy. And yet, when I explored there by myself, I was like, I can tell that they're secluded. I can tell that they don't know everything. I can tell that they don't really explore. They keep to themselves, but they didn't explain why. They might have a good reason. Now I know they were being enslaved by the empire, but they were willing to offer things to me, and they were kind, but they kept their distance. Hear how different I'm talking about it. But you see, if I let the experience, so I fell into the river and I let it just guide me, and it's telling me, yeah, these things are not welcoming, they're rude, they think we're the enemy, they think all this stuff like that. Doesn't mean that they're wrong. They might have actually thought that I was the enemy even the first time when I went there by myself. They didn't say anything. You guys understand? They didn't make me feel that way. Yet, if I fall into the river and I let it just flow, I'm saying they're like, enemy. You guys get it? That means that they're telling me what the enemy is. They're telling me how I should think, how I should operate. Now, in something as a story or an experience that we're just consuming or playing, it's for the most part, guys, harmless. Just so you guys understand. It really is. But I'm telling you guys, those are the areas where we should test it. Those are the areas where we should explore it. Because in a harmless place, we can actually see this phenomena come into effect. So then we can start attaching and putting it into our actual life. Because then it makes sense. Because I'm like, wait a minute, if it's happening in a harmless location, such as a video game story, or a movie that we enjoy, or a book that we enjoy, you know it's most definitely happening in not harmless locations in our day-to-day life. And I'm saying, if you can understand how it happens in something harmless, then you can piece together how it happens in something not harmless. So, it's not easy, guys. It's not easy. I'm telling you, it never ends. Because if we operate the way they present known information, right? I call it the void dragon, but it uses people. It uses anything that it can. I called it the Kologarn laser. The Kologarn is like this stone soldier statue thing that had two big arms that would capture people once in a while, and it grabs them. Period. And when it does, it starts crushing them, and everyone else has to like help them temporarily remember who they are. But if everyone doesn't swap at the correct time to help them break free, because if enough people are like, hey, no, don't let the Kologarn say that to you, then it lets go. And then when that happens, they're like, all right, I can think freely again. What I'm saying, guys, that moment is when something known gets presented. I call it the Kologarn laser, the void dragon lasers, right? And if the laser touches you, it's because then known information is presented to you that means something to you, either good or bad. That makes you put on the mask. But then you put on the mask when you're being grabbed by this stone soldier thing, and I call it Kologarn. You guys see, until people understand this, I'm saying every single individual is reliant on something else. I used to say it, but it's true. Something else has to save them, has to take them out away from that area, has to present new information that saves them. And I'm saying, guys, it's almost impossible, because at the same time they're already now operating in the river, and I'm like, hey, take my spoon, all right? And if you grab my spoon, you can climb, like you think about it in those movie scenes or like in those books that someone like puts like a stick or like a log and they put it into the river, and someone can grab it and escape the flowing river. Do you guys understand? You guys know what I'm talking about. So think about something like that. So I could be like, hey, here you go, come on. But when you hear my hey, because the void dragon laser got you, the Kologarn grab is currently squeezing you, crushing you. What ends up happening is that when that happens, the void dragon then like laughs and like a mist overcomes you. So then what the mist does is it distorts the sound effects. It distorts the sound effects that you hear, which means that every time you hear something, it makes you think that it's something else, guys. It makes you think that it's something else, or it makes you see something else. Like you see something, you see something else. You hear something, you hear something else. So that means that you're not present. You don't. It controls your interpretation. It's real, by the way, guys. So all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, take this log. I can save you. You hear my voice say that, but it actually is the voice of, like, think of it like some like demonic zombie. Like, if you take this log, I'm gonna kill you, or something like that, guys. Right? So people are like, what? That's a good intro. And then they see me, and like they might see like someone that they just despise or something, or it might remind them from like a video game character. Like for myself, like I think like maybe like Ultimisha, or like a villain or something in fantasy that you guys relate to, or something like that. And they see that instead, and it might not even be a negative for them, but they're just like, I don't know if I should trust that. That's an unknown, and it sounds like that. You guys, my whole point is that they distort the mist that envelops us, distorts whatever is trying to help us. You guys get it? It distorts it. You can't interpret things anymore through a positive lens. You now view it negative, and so that means that they succeeded. That's the lethality of the laser effect, is that it first hits you, so then then all of a sudden you immediately get grabbed and captured by the collar guard arm. Then you're getting crushed. Then a mist envelops you, and now you instinctively put on the mask. And when you do so, now a mist all of a sudden appears around you, distorts everything, the sound effects, the voice, they control interpretations, they make anything that seems like it could help you and make it as bad. So you guys get it? It means that you're going to be like, nah, I'm just going to let the river flow. I have my mask on. Doesn't mean that I'm going to succeed, but I'm going to be safe. And you are. You guys understand? You're going to be safe. You're going to be protected. But what does protected mean? It means that you're going to now do what is known. Because now they're going to, as you're flowing down the river, while you have your mask on, you feel better. Like, I feel better right now. So while you feel better, now you finally get to just flow. It's like, I think of it like back in the day, like for myself in Puerto Vallarta or the Mexico balnearios, you had like these big floaties, and you could just sit in them, and they called it the lazy rivers. All right, guys? And you're just floating there, you're relaxing. It actually is pretty relaxing. Doesn't mean that there are not a lot of things present, but some people actually just like jump down into the river and just like walk through it when they're holding their big flotation device. I'm saying that's the answer, but most of us just then put on our mask and we just sit back and we're relaxing, we're watching. We're seeing like the palm trees, and we're seeing the sun, and we're hearing the breeze, and we're hearing the kids laughing, and the waves crash against the walls. It's relaxing. It really is, guys. It's meant to be. That's the whole experience. But you guys see that I'm saying that's what happens during the flow of time, is that we are just sitting in a lazy river. And because we got hit by a laser, and we got grabbed, now everything's distorted. But you see, if we don't put on our mask, since everything got distorted, we see everything's bad, so most of us feel obligated to put on the mask. And then when we put on the mask, everything seems brighter, but you guys see, essentially it just temporarily removes everything. It quiets everything, but it actually really doesn't. It just makes everything appear a set way, but now we're like, all right, now I can just relax. All right, we got to the destination. Cool. But you guys see now, the mask is completely, like I'm thinking Dark Souls 3, the wax thing. And it's now part of you. You guys understand it's not anymore just a temporary thing that you can, what started as just like a protection mechanic now becomes a permanent thing from us. Do you guys understand? And now it's a permanent thing. So now we need it. We need something to make us temporarily feel better. It's not a choice anymore. So now when we jump off the flotation device and get out of the lazy river, we arrive at this location, and we might touch our face, but the mask is still on. That's fine. And now we just start operating, guys. You guys see that? That means that our lens, the way we think about things, the way that we do is now it's known. Our thread is now crafted. It's created. There's no more misunderstandings. We understand everything. Everything is known now. Because think about it. the entire time we're just flowing down the river, the lazy river, we see things. But I'm saying everything that we see is what they want. They're like, oh look, there's some birds. Oh look, there's like a little pelican. There's this. There's that. Ah, that's cool. You guys see that you don't even do it. You just relaxed, floating down the river. And you have no idea when you're gonna reach the end of the destination. All of a sudden you're like, oh, here we go. Oh, I guess this is the end of the. I'm thinking of like Back to the Future, a ride in Disney or something, or Epcot. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I arrived. All right. I don't even know how I got here, but I got here. Cool. Do you guys get it? It's not easy. And I'm telling you guys, that's how they do it. And it's through the destruction events that have happened in our lives. And they target those so that we create masks, so that we have set things that we need to do until the point where everything becomes known. And then once that happens, we don't let people save us anymore. We don't let people help us. And I'm telling you, most people can't even help, just so you guys understand, because it's not easy. It's complex. It's difficult. There's something in this world that always tries to prevent other people from helping, because if they help, they get punished. So if anyone does help, it's rare. I'm saying usually when help does arrive, we view it as help because everything's distorted. Do you guys get it? So all of us now, when we arrive at the location, we do. People are like, all of a sudden, someone like, let's say Shepherd Star, myself, the startup, and that arrives, and I'm like, hey, and now you don't see me as a distorted monster, because you arrived at the location with your mask fully cemented in with the wax, and you're like, yeah, hey, Star Diplomat, what's up? And I'm like, so, are you about to do something right now? And they're like, yeah, actually. Things are good. I know exactly. Finally, I know things. I understand things. There's no more misunderstandings. There's no destructions. Things are good. And I'm like, are you sure you healed? Like what? Why are you trying to stop? I'm like, no, but, how about you want to just explore it a little bit with me before you continue? I'm like, no, I already know everything. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm like, oh. Alright. And then that person does. And at no point am I saying that what they end up doing is bad or good. But what it is it's known. It's the Void Dragon, through its tactics that it used, created a set sequence of events. So that now they flowed down the river of time, and what ended up happening is exactly what they wanted, how they wanted it. So now the individual finally feels comfortable to do, but they do what was planned, what was intended. And I'm saying it's not always bad. It's not always bad. But if they allow for something temporary good or neutral to happen, you have to ask yourself why. It means that they're setting something else up down the road. Do you guys get it? And it could be that there's 5 years of good now on their path. And most people be like, then why would I ever interrupt or destroy that mask? Why would I do that? And I'm like, if I'm going to get 5 years of good after so much bad, why? But I'm like, what happens then year 6? Oh, well, you lose everything. Unless you decide to enslave, like, this farm town. I'm thinking like Westheim, Germany. If you enslave the farm town year 6, then we'll let you be. But if you don't, then you lose everything. And you started walking the path because you let the river just take you where it does. Initially under protection, you guys understand? Some information got presented to you, known things. You had to respond a set way now. So then when you get there, you guys get it now, everything's known. But you guys, we can't see 6 years down the road. But this is the danger of doing when everything's known, guys, is that we're not operating outside the confines. We're slotted in based on our negatives and our positives and our destruction events, our misunderstanding events, and what we understand and what we don't understand. So we should all be very, very, very worried when, for the first time ever, without us actually, I guess this is the takeaway. If you are about to do things and you haven't fully healed or understand, if you haven't fully healed and you're about to do things, it means that you should be extremely cautious, because it means that something cut corners and solved things for you so that you can do. Because I'm saying, guys, now I see why I was always so lethal, so dangerous, because every time I actually did, after a certain point in my life, when I finally broke free and healed and destroyed the evil of my life, is that I realized that I actually put in the work. Doesn't mean that I might have been 100% healed, but I was like 95, 98. And you guys understand that amount of effort that I put in to operate outside of the tapestry of life made it so that, you see, guys, there were still some unknowns. There were some things that I still didn't know that I had to learn just by doing. But I had already known most things, but now I didn't let them establish the known things. I had healed the things that they had installed in me, and then since I healed all the poison, now I could just do. So then when they presented the poison, it didn't make me put on a mask anymore. Do you guys understand? It didn't make me put on a mask and fall into their river of time. I was always operating on my own time, doing my own thing. Sometimes they pushed me back in to make me feel like I needed something now, and then I would destroy it and start over again. And that worked, but do you guys understand? I had put in the effort to actually heal. You see, like, I'm always beating myself up about not doing or doing, or when I do and not do. But I'm realizing is that at this point, I could have done already for months now. And I've been beating myself up for not doing, but I'm just playing it so safe. But I could have already, because I have been only healing for the last year, for the last 6 months, for the last 3 months, for the last 2 years, for the last 4 years. And I'm saying, guys, that I've already been healed, and I'm still healing, because there's always new things that they're causing. Most of you end up doing without putting in any effort into healing. But they create an easy, convenient mask for each of you. They create an easy, convenient mask for each of you that you can use. But when you put it on, you're going down the lazy river. And you end up at the location of their choosing, when they choose, how they choose. It's fascinating. Now I see it all. I'm telling you guys. Don't let them present all the known things. Don't let them make you believe everything's known. Because if you haven't been able to do because you're damaged or hurt, and then all of a sudden, conveniently out of nowhere, you are able to, I'm telling you guys, you all should be very wary of that, because it means you didn't put in the effort to heal. You didn't put in the effort to heal, which means that something else solved the problems for you. And it doesn't mean that we can't sometimes have help, but you have to then do your own effort. You have to explore it, and you can't just rely on something else telling you. Like, for example, if someone is using my knowledge right now, my talks to heal, you have to deconstruct this yourself. You have to put in effort. You have to write it out. You have to re-explore it. You have to re-examine it. You have to try to figure it out. Just like pace back and forth in your kitchen or in your living room. and like listen to my voice and be like, what is he trying to say here? What can I piece together? What can I? And you guys see, you have to put in more effort. Because if I say everything and you're just like, oh, now I understand. I'm saying I'm trying my best to make it, give you guys, get you from A all the way to F. I'm trying. So that then you just have to do one final leap. See, like, I'm not pushing you to the river, but I'm letting you walk alongside the river, and then I'm getting you to the destination where you need to get to. I'm like, I'm not going to push you in, but you should jump into the river now. Be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. All right. Oh, I'm here. I'm healed. Whoa. I'm trying to do that for all of you. You see, I'm trying to intentionally keep people just outside of the river. It's not easy, but at the end of the day, I can't make it happen. Each and every one of you have to. And I'm saying, I've now pieced together that the way the Void Dragon does it, with the Kolagharn play and the laser and all that stuff, and the distorting, the corrupting the mist, the break storm, all that stuff, is that what they do is they give all the known variables, so they finally feel like, aha! I understand everything. It all makes sense now. Now I can do it. And I'm like, really? You actually put an effort to heal? Really? And they haven't. Do you guys get it? It's just they presented certain known things that they're now going to respond either negative or positive, whichever one it is. They put on the mask. They're temporarily safe. They're intentionally now, they keep away the known negatives from them while they're flowing down this river of time. They're like, I don't know why people are saying this river is bad. This is a good river. And they get to the destination actually feeling good. And they finally feel like everything understands, because the entire time they're just floating in the river. Do you guys understand? They're not thinking. They're not exploring. The Void Dragon is just inserting mental thoughts into their head, creating an interpretation for them, creating an entire path for them. So when they get there, all right, this is what I need to do. It all makes sense now. I had this great idea while I was just floating in the lazy river. This is what I need to do. And then they do it. And I'm not saying that bad happens. I'm not saying good happens. I'm saying that that's irrelevant. What I'm saying is that things just actually happen. Things get set into motion. But usually what ends up happening over time is that a realization occurs. That they're like, wait, bad actually came from this. And maybe months later or years later, they're like, wait a minute, I caused bad, or why did I do that, or why did I think that was the only path left, or... So, and most people, like, if I think about, like, in a video game story or movies or books, is that it comes to a point where the villain usually is like, yeah, I don't know why I did that. It's like the hero, like, snaps them out of it. And that's real, by the way. I always thought that, by the way, guys, just so you guys are aware, as someone who writes stories, I used to think that part was a little ludicrous and ridiculous. So I'm like, yeah, is that real? And I'm like, it actually is real. I'm saying it happens because when they ended up doing is that they were floating down the lazy river of time. Something else pushed them in, so they were a known piece on the tapestry. So then they were just doing based on what was presented, the negative and the bad, and the good that they already understand, and based on their misunderstandings and their desires. So they just operated exactly how they were known. So it all made sense at that moment. But then, do you guys see, way later, if now distance was created, and new events happen. So think about someone like myself, like Shepherd Star, that started my presents, and it's like, hey, I set things in motion because I'm operating outside of the tapestry. I'm creating my own flow of time, creating my own new threads. When I'm doing that, guys, do you understand that when that happens, all of a sudden, and if enough distance got created, not enough reinforcement happens, that they're like, wait a minute, why did I do those things? And you guys see, they're not supposed to come to that realization, but if they do, the Void Dragon then shoots a new laser at them, and they have no chance. And when that happens, it's now going to be like, fine, you weren't supposed to come to that realization, but now we're going to guilt you for doing those bad things that we made you do, or even good things that we made you do. But now you see, now they have a permanent guilt play that they're going to use related to those things. So like, you did this, or you did this, or you did this. And I'm saying, guys, it's real. Yeah, when we operated, we thought that it was a logical path. It made sense to us based on everything we've been experiencing, negative and good. Right, guys? So, Ishtola, saving Luis. I'm telling all of you is that we only can see it way later when something that is operating outside of the tapestry, outside of our river of time, our flow of time, that's planned, inserts something or says something or brings attention to something or disrupts something, and then we're like, wait a minute, wow, yeah, we created darkness seeds there, or we caused chaos or havoc or problems. What? Why did we do that? I'm saying, guys, then they're gonna, if you figure it out, you were never supposed to. If you do, that's when then they try to weaponize that. And that's when most people are gonna, you see, they have so many protection mechanics put in place to destroy one if they ever start figuring it out. They're like, ha, we baited you to do those things. You ruined so many stories because you did that. Ha! And if you finally figure it out, I'm telling you guys, when that happens, then they're like, shit, they weren't supposed to realize that we made them do bad. Well, when that happens, that is when they're going to then try to guilt you. Use as a permanent reminder. Do you guys get it? So no matter what, you're doomed, and it's all because you put on the mask, and it temporarily made you feel better, it quieted everything, and you just went down the lazy river that they created for you, based on your knowns. It's just by presenting known information, and they distort anything that could help you, and then you just end up in a location, and you finally do, and you guys get it. Why wouldn't you? If you haven't been able to do for months or years, and now you can finally do you guys get that anything that interferes with that, or interrupts you, or disrupts you, is now going to be the enemy? It's just that simple, guys. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to hear myself explain these things through this format, through a story, through a different way. This is a different version of myself, but I drew inspiration from every single thing that I've done over the last, really, I would say 2 years. A little more, maybe even last 4. I would say last 4. I took a little bit from everything. And it's interesting what it created and what it allowed. And I added my own take on things. But do you guys see that everything is different? Yet at the end, I don't need anything from this. But since I still took a little bit from everything, you guys see, I guess what my takeaway is that our actions are always going to be dictated by everything that we've experienced. Always. Everything. But if we let them present things to us, and now we all start operating within the known. Do you guys understand that whatever we now do, whatever we set into motion, is planned, is predetermined? And I'm not always saying that we have to cause chaos and destruction and havoc for the sake of just preventing them. We should always try to prevent the existing flow of time. We should always be creating our own. All of us. Remember what I said, guys? It's malleable goo. I think of like foil and like a nativity scene, or I think of it as Play-Doh on a round glass table. Do you guys understand? Like, it doesn't matter what it is. The point is that time itself, the flow of time, is just there. It should be shared for all in the middle. And we can all mold it as we see fit. Hello, Sinestro. And we can do so. But I'm telling you guys is that there's something that always tries to take it over and make sure that all of us then get thrown into the flow of time the way it decides and the way it wants. We have to fight back against that. It's not easy. And that's what I've been explaining this entire 2 hours. And I'll never have all the answers. I think I'm really close now. closer than I've ever been. My takeaway from all this is, let's go there. My takeaway from all this is that one of our responsibilities as human beings is to figure out how to operate outside of the known. It's not even a choice anymore. I'm actually saying we all need to. It's not a choice. It's a must. It's an obligation. It's not a requirement though, and that's interesting. When I listen to that, I'm gonna think about that one. Wow, an obligation doesn't mean it's a requirement, because a requirement implies that there's a punishment involved. It's an obligation. We need to be trying to operate outside of what's known, because if we do, it's as simple as that. Just to bring it back, guys, is that if I know that right now I'm live streaming, or if I know that I'm an actor in a play of life, or the Alexandria Damaska thing, with all that stuff, guys, it's known. If I know there's audience, or if I know that that's like, do you guys get it? It's known. Daughter of the Grand Summoner, all that stuff, it's known. We have to be able to operate at a point where it's not known anymore, so we can just create freely. I guess it really does tie back to our conditions, our programs, the things that have been installed into us, the things that we respond to. I'm like, it doesn't mean that there's not things that are positive and negative. It really always boils down to the same thing. We have to be able to choose. We can't always respond the same way. We can't. We just can't. And I'm telling all of you, it had defeated me for an extended period of time, because I realize every single day as I'm just operating that pretty much every single person I see is just a predetermined variable that responds based on all the things that have been built and crafted within them from day one. They're just always getting hit by the laser, and they just do. The negatives and the positives, they just are always they're just floating down the river, and they always end up at the destination exactly the way that something else crafted them and intended for them. And it has caused me to create distance from essentially everything, because I see that. And do you guys understand? It's not only just ridiculously sad, but I have deemed it that the only possible path left is that they just distort who I am. So I realized that the only way I can cause impact now to disrupt things is if my chess piece is missing. And it works, but you guys get how sad that is. That it means that the only way that I can actually cause them to reflect and try to actually be like, wait a minute, is if I just create permanent distance, and my chess piece is now gone from their entire existence. And that's the only way I can get all of them to be like, wait a minute, why did we do what we did? Why are we operating the way we do? Why do we think the way we do? Why do we see things the way we do? Because you see, guys, what I'm trying to make you guys realize is that by myself creating distance from everything and everyone, is that I make them question. It's finally not a known. They're like, why is he doing that? What is he doing that for? What doesn't make any sense? You guys get it? That moment is the first time all humans are operating with a question mark present. And that means that the result isn't 100% guaranteed. I still can't prevent 99% of that. They're 99% known thread in the grand tapestry of life. Do you guys understand? Because they just have to present a known thing. If I just say, guys, hey guys, when was the last time you drank water? I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I have to drink water every 10 minutes. That's the rule I created for myself. Well, then all of you guys are going to do that. And it's not, you see guys, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but all of you operate that way, always. If I say that, hey guys, when was the last time you drank water? I'm like, I used to have a rule that I have to drink every 10 minutes, but I'm going to wait 20 minutes right now, and then I'm going to drink 10 times in 2 seconds. Is that even possible? I don't know, but I'm going to try. You guys see, then for the first time ever, you're operating outside of the confines of what is known. You're exploring, you're trying, you're deciphering, you're deconstructing, you're figuring out, which means that the result is not predetermined. But right now, you see, I'm realizing that my actions are actually, and I'm not doing this, what I'm about to say right now, to make myself feel better. I'm doing this to make myself realize that I've actually been doing the correct things. Because what I want all of you to realize is that one of their plays that they do against me is that they make me think that I'm the problem and not other people. I'm saying mentally things that present things. They're like, you could do so much more. You could achieve anything. You're capable of changing storylines. And I am. But I realized that they do the distorted misplay, so I kind of gave up. And I'm like, why can't I do more? And I'm realizing that actually my play of creating distance and silence and confusion, even though it causes deconditioning, and even though it causes that other negative dark voices can be more present, it's still just little reminders once in a while that present can cause major disruptions, because they then are like, wait a minute, what? Why? That doesn't make sense. And that is at least one thing for the first time ever that is not completely known for them now. Because what they do is, I now realize, is that they make sure that every single person is only operating with knowns. And that's actually so sad. I always, see guys, I always thought, I now I know is that I was always free. You know, they were always trying to fully instate me, but I never got fully enslaved. My entire life I was always free, because I always had unknowns. And I'm saying that what I now realize is that every single person gets shepherded down paths to the point where they want to only operate in areas where everything is known, because operating with unknowns is their greatest fear. So once they have an area that is fully known, they know everything, they know how things are going to operate. There's no surprises anymore. There's no unexpected. Is that then they feel safe, so then they can just do it repeatedly. And most of us just want to be able to do. You guys understand? Because then we equate that with results and progress. So now I realize that actually the majority of people, I always thought, wow, how are they so capable? How are they able to do it? It's because they only are operating in the small confines that got created for them, where they actually do know everything, and that's that. We know the timber owls. When all of a sudden that changes, disruptions can occur. Because for the first time, they're not going to be a known thread. Even if they're now a 99% known thread, you guys understand, remember I said the 1% deviation play can cause major effects. And now I'm realizing that my strategies and method of creating distance and silence and disruption through that method actually is creating, for the first time ever in most people's storylines that have even that get into contact with me, actual one unknown finally present for the first time ever in their lives. Because the moment they have unknowns, I'm telling you guys, because of all the fear events and the negatives that happen, and also the positives of when they have made some results, they spend every second trying to only have knowns. So they are only flowing down the exact same river that they have done so already 100 times, so that they know that there's not going to be any problems. Hey, I'm going to flow down this river right now. Cool. Does anything unknown happen when you do that? Nope. I know exactly where I'm going to go. I know exactly when I'm going to go. I know what happens. You understand how ideal that is for predetermining the entire story of the world? Is that you want all your actors to be flowing down the exact known river. So if at any point you want to move them to another river, you know, move them when they're 60% through this river, because that means they saw these things, these negatives and these positives. So then they're going to operate exactly the way I want. So now I'm going to move them to the next river. Oh, yes! They're operating with a lot of darkness and negativity. You guys see what I'm saying is that they make us put on the mask because they present a known thing. We now fall into the river that they want. And while we're going down that river, I called it at one point like a theme park of like conditioning, awaken the condition. It's like there's different like stations. And as they're just sitting there in the river and they're looking to the left, and like, oh, right now we're seeing the station about, oh wow, this is about my past and about lions and negatives. Oh, and then we look to the right, and like, oh, this is the station right now about Final Fantasy and video games and stuff like this. Oh, this station's right now about, oh, look at the beautiful Latina girls, and oh, look at that perfection and Merry Christmas, and oh, and I could keep going. I use positive now, but I'm saying is that that's what happens to all of you, both negatives and positives. They just make it so it's 51 positive, 49 negative, until they want you to operate precisely the specific way they want. Then all of a sudden you're like, I've been flowing down this river every single time and there haven't been any problems, and boom, 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 boom. Then all of a sudden there's like 6 negatives that happen in a row, and then when that happens, then quickly it's like there's like a barricade, a wall appears in the river. You're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then you're like, never mind, we're back now. But now you're on someone else's river and you didn't even realize that happened of time. And when you get there, now you bump into something else. You're actually interacting with something. So what I call an event happens. And when that happens, you're operating based on the things that you've been just watching. Think of like you're just literally watching TV. While you're just sitting there in a lazy river. So you become the zombie that they want. This one's fascinating. This is just pure freedom. It's really interesting. That's just cool. This has been fun. I'm telling you guys, it's absurd. Because, but now I know that my actions have been correct. Doesn't mean I can't do more. Doesn't mean that I can't try to find new ways. But my approach that I've been choosing has actually been creating, for the first time in most people's storylines, some unknowns. And once in a while, shaking it up, no rhyme or reason, things of that nature. It's an experiment, can't be a mistake, stuff like that. Even if I don't follow through with everything, is enough of a disruption that it can be like, wait, what? Because see, then they don't understand why now. They don't understand why now. And that causes some question marks, which breaks the hold that the dark void dragon, the laser, and the grip of Kologarn has on them. The mist is a little less distorted. It still distorts everything, but they're in the lazy river, and all of a sudden I think of it like in Mayakoba, like some actors jump out. I say, hey, there's going to be a lion that jumps out right there, and you are expecting it, and all of a sudden instead of the lion, it's actually like, I don't know, a dragon or a stag. You're like, whoa, what? What is that doing there? You're like, I didn't even know that was going to be there. That's interesting. And then you see, because you got like that temporarily happens, you didn't normally they have it so that you're going to then look to the left right then, and you don't. Do you guys understand? So when you don't, you missed one of the seizing events. You missed one of the things that are supposed to present. You missed one of the things that always present. And when that happens, the reinforcement is in the same way. Remember I said the 1 degree deviation occurs. So in a way, if there's one thing that I got from all this, is that this approach that I just did today has made me realize that even though I can always do more, my strategy of creating distance and making them question things, not understand things, because everything's not known for once, is actually one of the most powerful things that I can do without allowing to create new negatives. Because that's the problem. If I try to interact directly by giving them a log, they can create new negatives. So this is one approach, but it's not enough, but at least it's something. Do you guys get it? One of the most challenging things about being someone who's operating outside of the vision of the darkness dragon is that you know that it's always trying to stop you. It's real, because it just wants the flow of time. It took it over. Remember what I said, guys? It's just there. It's like the wellspring. You get it Forspoken, Final Fantasy VII, Rebirth, either one. And it's just there. It's just there. And it's there for everyone to create existence and create time. But we're not able to, because something else takes it over. Alright. So, my takeaway, guys, it never ends. The moment we are finally free, the moment we are creating time for ourselves, we're not letting something dictate the flow of the river. We're not letting something tell us what's known and what's not. And if they do, we know we have to deviate, and we just destroy something and we start over again. I'm telling all of you, it never ends. Because every single time you are operating freely outside of the confines, something happens to try to make you become a thread again that's known. Doesn't mean you might only be now 98% known. But you guys get it. You're 1% more free. But you're still 98% known now. That's not easy, guys. And small victories matter. Small victories matter. I didn't used to think so, because in the grand narrative, in the grand scheme of things, they don't. Just so you guys are aware, they don't. People are like, that doesn't make any sense. You said they matter, but they don't. I know, guys. That's the problem. But they matter in our individual story. What do I mean by that? Is because if today I'm now 97% free because of this process that I did, and I don't always have to do this approach because I know how I got to the stream. Like I experienced a story segment that had some valuable, interesting, complex questions in it, and I made it my own. But do you guys understand that if I used to do this, but I moved away from it because it became known. It became known. Do you guys understand? Completely known. And I couldn't mix and match anymore, and I always just did things the way like this. And I'm saying, guys, it got weaponized against me. Always. So, and it was used to ruin things. So sometimes creating distance, going back to things, and then modifying and making your own can work. But you guys see, I'm saying, think about how complex that is. How many people are going to do that? And now they're going to be more on guard. It's always going to shape our behavior and our patterns and our. It's not easy. All right. That's the takeaway, is that it never ends. And all right. So now, because I did this approach, I'm 94% free. That means that what I'm trying to make you all realize is that you won't ever go back to 98% enslavement. You're now 94% free. Or now you're 94% enslaved. You're 6%. Things like that, guys. People are like, oh man, really? I'm like, yeah, but you're making progress. But it means because you actually explored, you tried, you were operating with unknowns, it changes things, guys. Do you guys understand? Is that you don't let them slot you in as a known thread. You're creating your own flow of time. It's a good thing to be 1% more free every single time. I don't know if we'll ever be able to get to 100% freedom, but every single time we break free from one thing, you guys understand it? They can't do the same things again. It won't function. It won't result anymore. Because now, the same play that they use against us, just so people are aware, the same play that they use against us, that they present the known, that's based on a misunderstanding, a desire, destruction event, or something that we are finally seeking to understand, the same play that they use against us is the same thing that we use to win against them. You guys get it? Because now, if they present the known thing that last time pushed us into the known river of time that led to bad or good, whatever, but we know was their story, when it reappears, we now know. Do you guys understand? Which means that even though when it reappears, even though we're outside of existence, outside of the tapestry, even though we're operating outside of it, when they present the thing that they want to try to make us fall into their river, you guys get it? We temporarily are operating within the tapestry of life, but we don't fall into the river because we now know that they were trying to make us fall into their river. So then, though, we're forced to destroy it, and then all right, now we're back out. But you guys see, we don't fall back into their river. It doesn't mean that it doesn't force us to temporarily respond. Sure. But you guys see, because we defeated and we deconstructed and we destroyed each one of their plays that they've done, it doesn't function anymore. That doesn't mean that it doesn't make us respond. It doesn't mean that it doesn't make us have to fight back. It doesn't mean that we don't have to try. It doesn't mean that it's not easy. It means it's, on the contrary, it's extremely challenging. It's difficult because it means that we have to always be on guard, and we're always trying, and we always have to keep remembering the things that we've overcome. But do you guys see that every time we defeat one of their things, it never works again if we actually defeated it? I'm telling you guys, the reason they want to make you flow down their river so that you think you win and you are finally operating and things are going well, but then you guys see you didn't actually defeat it. So it means that then, if at any point you deviate, they present things to you again, and you fall into the river and you don't understand now, you revert all the progress. And I'm saying it's because we never actually fully defeated things. Alright? What was it, Adele? Final Fantasy 8? When she absorbed them all? I'm telling you guys, it never ends. But 1%, a small victory, means that it won't function again. That is a victory of immense proportions. But in the grand scheme of things, it might not change anything. You guys understand? You're like, well, is a storyline now going to change? Is good going to happen? Are we going to liberate a location? I'm like, no. And they're like, well, nothing happened. I'm like, you're right. But what did happen is that now they can't ever use the same destruction play, the same presenting known things to cause either good or bad, but it's their flow of time. They can't ever do that again. You guys understand? It's not going to lead to the results anymore. Because we know, like, that's their river. And we jump out immediately. You guys get it? And that, if each and every one of us, I know at one point I talked about this, but if each and every one of us could do that, then we would win. Because then time itself would finally be free again. Time wouldn't be taken over. It wouldn't be getting molded by something. We could all just choose to take a little river at any point for ourselves. But we're sharing with the entire world. There's no problem. You guys get it? We all will now know how to defeat the things they do. Because we understand it and learn how they make it and what they present and how they always make us do the same things and put on the mask so that we see exactly what they want us to see, so that we end up exactly the way they want. If we can each individually defeat that, then we win. Did you guys see 1% victories, 1% more free only will result in a grand thing if everyone does it. It's most likely never going to happen. But individually, we have to know that it's just going to make our day-to-day life significantly better because we're never going to be destroyed by the same things. Isn't that what you guys all want? In the grand scheme of things, it's not going to cause any major changes in the world. It's real. I've come to accept that. Most of my things and actions and behaviors and things I learn aren't going to result in anything in the grand narrative anymore. It's just impossible. They have too many prevention mechanics in place. It's just reality. But one thing first is real, is that I'm going to be free from their torture until they create something new. And then I have to start this process again. Alright, that's my takeaway. So, I'm going to take a short break, another minute or two, and then I'm going to just do a quick explanation of these things one last time. See how I'm going to talk about it now that I've injected 2 hours into myself related to this topic. Alright, be right back. Oh. All right. This is it. This is the end. How can we create time? If I ask that question to most of you now, your answer is going to be very different than if I asked you that question. I believe I asked that question 2 hours ago, just so people are aware. I literally asked it exactly the same way. How can we create time? I'm telling all of you that my answer, your answer, whoever's listening, would have been different. I'm saying that if I re-listen to this later today, tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now, my answer is going to be slightly different. It's going to be modified by every single thing that I've experienced and learned and that got presented, and it's going to modify things. Now, what one is going to piece together is that if we actually understood something, if we actually learned something, we actually figured something out, is that we're going to get to a similar answer, but it's going to be modified. All right? Just so you guys understand. Is that it doesn't matter. We actually figured something out for ourselves. If we healed something, we understood something, the answer that we get to is, it doesn't, coat of paint's a coat of paint. But what I'm trying to make everyone realize is that we know the path that we need to walk. Just for myself, just as a positive, I know I need to walk the girl path and have another kid and be another parent and have pets again. And perhaps even if the organization aspect has been changed, but now I don't have the same desire to heal the world and individuals directly. It could be an indirect side effect and bonus, but I know that I want to do that for my girl, my kid, and my pets. That part is real. If I could go back in time, I would make sure that my healing powers related to that are directed at them. That's real. So, did you guys see what I'm saying? But I ask all of you now, how can you create time? What I want you all to understand is that if you actually listen to this whole thing, guys, that when I asked that question to you guys, when you re-listen to it at the beginning, if you gave yourself a little distance, it's always going to be different than after how you answered 2 hours later. But it's always going to become similar. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Because the lesson, the solution, what we figured out is real. So I ask all of you now, how can we create time? It's simple. But it doesn't mean that there aren't challenges and difficulty there. But the only way we can create time, guys, is that we have to operate outside of what's known. That's the only way, because then we're capable of setting things into motion. Now we know that setting things into motion has nothing to do with if everything is known or unknown. But the only way we can create time for ourselves when we make things occur is that we have to be operating outside of whatever box, whatever fences, whatever confines, without being on the tapestry itself, without being a known thread. That's the only way. It's the only way. It has nothing to do with everything being known or unknown, because things happen when things are known for most people. But what we need to learn is that we need to only reach a point of doing, the only time we're actually, I guess this is where I'm going with this, the only time we're actually creating time for ourselves is when we do, when not everything is known. Otherwise, we are, doesn't mean that we can't modify the flow of time, but we're operating on something else's time. I'm saying the only time we're actually creating our own timeline is when there's unknown variables present, when we're operating outside of the confines. That's the only way. Because then for the first time ever, I'm saying, guys, is that the things that see everything don't see everything. So I'm telling all of you guys, creating time could be deciphered and interpreted as creating existence itself. Try to phrase it through the word time, because even though time is an extremely complex, abstract, invisible concept, I'm saying that you can essentially equate time to existence. Because think of it like this, guys. For anyone who has any music, but like if there's 4 slots available in something, or I think like in an RPG maker or like a game, you can equip 4 things, but there's 4 slots laid out in front of you. Well, let's say you can put 4 musical notes there. That's it. You only can choose 4 things, guys, right? That's what the time is, right? That's how much time you have. For most of you guys, think about it in your day, I'm like, you have 24 hours, 24 slots, right, guys? What can you fill it there? Whatever you fill that there creates existence there, because before that, nothing existed in those slots. Do you guys understand? It means that we fill it. See, most people can now conceptualize like, that makes sense. You guys see what I'm saying? Time is essentially existence, all right? So, but if I say, guys, hey, can you create existence itself? People are like, oh, I don't know about that. I'm like, hey, can you create time itself? I'm like, yeah, what are you even talking about? You guys see? So we can dumb it down. We can simplify things. But what I'm trying to make all of you realize is that we're either operating on something else's existence or we're creating our own existence. It's just that simple. Things want us to always be operating on their existence. Because if they present the good and the bad, that's all known to us, we operate on an existing line. If we always respond the same way to all the things, if we always walk the same paths, doesn't mean that we can't. Do you guys understand? There's a reason why the line gets created. But we have to be able to choose and deviate accordingly whenever we want. It's fun. Because when you do that, you guys are going to realize for the first time ever, that the line that exists, it doesn't go away. You guys, if tomorrow I want to go back to do all the things that I normally do every single day, I can. I can deviate the time and do. Do you guys understand? Then the line still changes. It's the same line. Let's say that it's a black line that's this long, guys. All right, this length. And all of a sudden, the line all of a sudden has one missing piece here, and then it, like, think of like the snake game, right? Like I'm thinking Neopets. It goes up, and then all of a sudden it goes a little left, and then it goes down, and then it goes a little right, and then it goes back up. And you're like, whoa. And then it goes again right, and then down. And now it's back on the regular line. You're like, whoa, what kind of like deviation was that? It's because when we normally would do here, we ended up doing here. Do you guys understand? And it modifies everything. So the line, someone just saw the line from distance, like, that line looks weird, but it's the same line. Because we did the same things, but we modified it, we deviated it. Even just the order, the timing, all those things. So then by the time we get to the end, do you guys understand? We didn't just let the lazy river take us down on a journey. We got there through a different path. So I ask all of you now, how can we create time? Or I say, hey, if you're operating outside of what's known, that means you actually can set things into motion. Aren't you able to now create existence itself? Or in other words, you create time. People are like, yeah. You guys see, like, once we understand something, it makes sense. But This time we're getting to it because we understand it. When I first present those concepts to all of you, if you don't understand it, you can let something else start distorting things and presenting things to all of you. And you start letting something else tell you how it should be. So then you start going down their existence, their line, their flow of time. So now you guys know it is possible to create time. It is. But you have to be able to operate outside existing. It means you can deviate all the things you do as is today. You can do the same 10 things, but you can just slot them in differently. Can you? You can. And you can easily do so. That means that there are going to be some unknowns now that are present. Can you do so? Can you? So, if you can't, I ask all of you, does known actually indicate that all of our actions are already seen? To give you all an example, to the left here I wrote some things that let me get to all this, just so you guys understand. It's the description of this stream talk, of this video. And there's some bullet points for myself that I can use to talk. But because of how I approach this today, I've already covered all these things. All of these things are already covered. This is just one last reinforcement that I'm doing right now. But what I'm saying, guys, is that since I wrote it out, what I'm telling all of you, remember what I said, guys, that the void dragon is always present. Because I'm like, how do they know everything? How do they predetermine everything? It's because they present now known things. So imagine if right now they're like, take a bite of your cereal. All right. Boom! What? I forgot what I was going to say, guys. I forgot what I was going to say. I'm going to drink from this mug. Oh, crap. All of a sudden, like, the music and the background that I had, that let me just focus, not get deviated, minimized, and a little notification popped up and it's like, hey, oh, and something's in my tooth right now. Oh, it says that I have 75 viewers right now, and some people are asking questions. Huh, that's interesting. Oh, my mom is cheering me on. Oh shit. I look at my phone. The girl that I'm interested in dating. Little pirate. She sent me a message saying that I'm so good at talking. She didn't know. Ooh. That means I can press her like this. Oh. Just remember to sit up straight. Oh wait, I'm streaming right now. Oops, I'm sorry guys, I forgot. Alright, so what does that mean? Oh, that all our actions are already seen. Yeah. So then right then, something is put into my head that's like, hey, you forgot. Now look to the left and read your bullet point. I'm like, alright. Because otherwise, we have to be able to create existence itself. Because otherwise does not known equal that all our actions are already seen. And you don't even really process, but you're like, oh, that's alright. Alright, so known equals all our actions are already seen. So what I'm saying, guys, is that I have the bullet points there. But things presented, known things we're presenting to try to make me become a known thread again, so that I operate a specific way. But then they they suggested to me after they seasoned me that I look at my notes or my bullet points or whatever I want to talk about. How could they make me now care more about those things in optimal? Because, well, hey, I found like the girl that I want to date sent me a message. My mom, I found out I had viewers. You guys understand what I'm trying to say? Is that they present these things to make us care, and then all of a sudden a mental suggestion appears, or we feel inclined to look at my notes because I'm like, I just want to get back on track. I got deviated, right? So I'm like, all right. So that means that if they already see everything that we're gonna do, it means that it's known. Could they plan then? Yeah, they can. So, aren't we then not creating a new existence, a new life? Aren't we then not creating time itself anymore? Aren't we, if they can see everything, because I'm saying, think of the simplest guys, like you write out on a notepad what you're going to talk about. And you're going to talk about it in a set order, in a set way. I'm saying we can add our own embellishments and our own little path deviations, is that's really powerful. It's important. But do you guys see, it doesn't matter if I do or not. It's set. I'm saying that this is a harmless example because the way I do things prevents all this. I could literally just look at these bullet points every 10 minutes and it's gonna be completely harmless. It is. But what I'm trying to make you all realize is that I'm trying to explain this in such a way that finally clicks for all of you. Is that they make us reliant on these things, and then we do those things. But since it's already written out, we all are going to operate a set way. But when we get to the location, we get to it having been presented specific things beforehand. So remember, now I got presented my desire. I got presented a potential bad. I now know, oh crap, I have viewers. I have to be careful. Remember to say things differently. Don't say bad words. Don't do this stuff. Don't do that. Remember, your mom needs things a little more simpler because she doesn't understand. It's her second language. So when we get to the location, I'm like, all right, that part is pretty confusing. I should probably simplify that. So what does it mean when all our actions are already seen, guys? Think of it like you guys just wrote it out on a notepad, all bullet points, and you have it there. If you guys have it all written out, and you're just going to talk about it one by one, that means they already know what you're going to talk about and how you're going to talk about it. Well, that means that everything's known. So are you going to really set things into motion anymore? Are you really creating a new existence, a new life? You guys see? Are you finally you guys piecing this together? You guys see what I'm talking about? They want as many things to get presented to us, so that everything is known. And I'm saying, guys, I'm using the notepad example to exemplify, but what the real culprit behind what I'm saying is things that are being actually presented other than that. Sure, we wrote it out, but we can add our own thing, but it's just the things that get presented to us that now give us information that we didn't know before. I have people watching. My desire, the girl that I want to date is watching. Do you guys understand? Those things are actually what create, now that we know things, those things are actually what make it so we're fully seen by the dragon and now knows exactly what we're going to do. Because if it can present those things to us, it now knows, all right, we know that you're never going to talk about the same things to the complexity that you do. If you have a hot girl that you want to date present, you're just not going to, because you don't want to scare her off. All right, so we want to keep things simpler, and we want to make sure that you can't get to the answer completely. Let's just make sure that a hot girl is present. Done. Do you guys understand? It's just that simple. That's all they have to do. You see, known creates set path, creates intended. That's just how they do it. But you have to first learn about it. It has to become known. But I'm saying, guys, if they can make you know something, then all your actions are seen. All your actions are now predetermined, because that known thing will take you to either a positive or a negative. And now, since you don't know how to deviate off of the line, all your responses and your choices are exactly the same. And if you don't deviate the way they want, if they present positive, you best bet they're going to present negatives that force you to put on the mask to respond to the things the way you always do. And then now they know that your path is guaranteed. So they're going to start presenting all the things they want to you. So then by the time you get to a location, you operate the way they want, either more positive or more negative. Do you guys get it? You can't deviate. For example, if I always re-listen to this a set way, I'm telling you guys, I'm always trying to deviate now. I found new ways to do so that they had no counter to, but I'm saying, guys, now they know. It doesn't mean that they always know. Doesn't mean that still isn't extremely powerful and effective. My tactics, just so you all understand, is my methods and my tactics are so complex and so advanced that there's almost nothing, the things that the Dark Dragon, the Void Dragon can do. But I'm still saying they find ways, because even though there's so much nuance and complexity and deviations that I can do, that it's, if I repeat it sufficiently, it becomes known. Do you guys understand? It becomes known, it becomes seen, which means that even though they might not get it correct, every day they're going to try new angles and new approaches to try to find ways, how can we present things while he's consuming something a certain way or repeating something a certain way to cause destruction, to cause different responses, to push him into our river of time, our flow of time. And I'm telling you guys, if you keep repeating things, if you keep staying in the same locations and everything starts becoming known, and you have same patterns, same behavior, same responses to everything, is that they spend every second trying to find new ways and decipher new ways to push you into their flow of time. It's just that simple. So now that I've explained it that way, I ask all of you this question. Does that mean that if we're able to weave new threads in this great tapestry, think of it like there's threads that exist on the outer perimeter of this tapestry rather than within it. They've never been seen before. No one even knows these things can exist. Are we actually creating time itself, that abstract, invisible concept? And I'm saying, think of time as existence. You get to now fill it with things. But if you can create your, like, think of it like this, guys. If I'm like, hey guys, let's create a new song. So I'm like, all right, now there's a blank song. What are we going to fill it with? That means I created time, I created existence, I created an opportunity for something now to be filled there. What I'm saying, guys, is that until you learn this knowledge, if everything is seen and you're operating based on the things that they present and they can move you into their river and you become a known thing, is that you're not allowed to create time. You're not allowed to create time anymore. People are like, well, it would be really nice to be able to create be able to choose which notes I want to put there in that song, but I can't. Like, think about, you guys hear the song now? Imagine if I could just pause it right here and add 5 new notes right here in this moment. That was my addition. It doesn't matter if it's good or not, but I can literally be like, pause, and I like rip open the fabric of time, and I can slot in my 5 notes right here. I create my own experience right here. And then I'm like, all right, now let's close it again. But you guys are amazed. It doesn't even really have to close anymore because it just slots in. Because I created time itself. I created existence itself. I created my own timeline. I created my own path forward. I created my own deviation that was not seen. Do you guys understand? It wasn't known. It doesn't mean that there aren't things that become more likely. Hey, when I talk about things, I might explain things this way. Sure. You guys understand? That's real. That means that when I rip open the fabric of time, I can slot in something there. People might be like, well, you might slot in one of these 10 things. That's probable. But it's still going to be an amalgamation, a mix, a milkmash of everything that is going to be a little different. Am I probably going to talk about video games? Yeah, most likely. Am I probably going to talk about girls? 100%. You know it. But how I do so, when I do so, the combination of it is always going to be a little different. Because I'm creating time, I'm creating existence itself. Not everything is seen. Not everything is known. It might be more known than it was previously. But it's never fully figured out, because you want to know what, guys? Is that since I've actually healed everything, since I actually understand everything, and I keep solving all the new bad that they do, remember what I said, guys, the 1% victory plays, is that it doesn't work anymore, which means that now I can modify on demand. I won't always put on the mask and solve things the exact same way. I can, but I also can go back to that. If I stop doing something for a month, I can go back to it again. I don't have to, but I can. Do you understand how dangerous that is, guys? Because that means that I now can choose. If I wanted to, I most likely would never choose to anymore. But if I wanted to stream without music, I could. But I know what the benefit of it. But imagine if I couldn't anymore. You guys understand? That means that I could never now create a new line of existence. I can never create time anymore. Because now the line is just guaranteed, which means that if they know exactly what to present, could they start making I could fall into their flow of time for how they want me to create this. They don't even want me to create this. Do you guys understand? They hate that I do this. But they're like, fine. If we couldn't stop him in the first place, can we at least make sure that he talks about the things that we want? Even if it's just short periods of poison, so that we can start causing bad for him or something if he re-listens to this. Or things of that nature. Could be anything like that. Do you guys understand? Or can we just make sure to disrupt the explanation so that he doesn't actually get to the answer? All those things are real. So what I'm saying, guys, is if not everything is seen, because not everything is known, we are actually able to create existence and time and slot things in. I call it creating our own experiences and things, but really, guys, is that you now for the first time get to choose how you fill in certain moments. I'm telling you, just for myself, I think about it back. I'm scrambling myself, but my girl that I used to have, when I first met her, she always thought that she had to, every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, do chores. Because that got installed into her by her mom. She had to. You guys understand? That means that everything was seen. Her path, her behaviors, everything was seen, which now they knew that she had to do those things, which means that when she was going to do those things, you best bet that they presented known things to make her either more positive or more negative. Do you guys get it? If you become known and everything is seen, you can't create your own time and you can't create your own existence. You're now floating down their river and you respond how they choose based on what's been presented. If they want you to respond the way they want, they can present either more positive or more negative. So how can we get to the point where we can weave new threads? How can we reach that capability, guys? How can we? Well, understanding everything I've talked about these first 3 hours is the answer. Do you guys understand? If you can piece together and decipher everything that I've talked about and re-listen to this and create your own interpretation of it and explore it and create art, games, stories, your own content, your own stories related to this, then you're going to figure it out. You're going to heal and you're going to be able to finally understand this and be able to apply it for yourself. But how could we even get to that point in the first place? Well, I ask all of you. If you hear what I just said, well, can you create your own interpretation of this? Can you write notes? Can you walk around while listening to this and try to figure it out? Well, what if then a desired storyline builds from that? Well, I want to figure this out so that then, so then I'm an actor in that Alexander Damaska play, and I want to perform better because everyone in my family wanted to perform in musicals, and we want to create a musical about this, and I want to be the best at it. I want to make them proud. So you guys see what you guys are announcing to the world when you say that is the things that got installed in all of you, the desires that got installed in you, the negatives that got installed in you, the consequences that got installed in all of you. And I'm saying is that those are what they use to make everything be known and be seen. As you guys see, those are what they use, because now they're like, aha, so that's what we can use to push him into the river, or push her into the river. We just need to present things related to the family. We need to present things related to the musical. We need to present things. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Those are the areas that they would target. Those are the areas that they identify as vulnerabilities. And once those get presented, we become a known chess piece. That's just how they do it. You see, it's through a desired storyline. What if you guys listen to this and I'm like, well, what are your hopes what do you hope to happen from this? Nothing. What? No, there has to be something. Or nothing. I mean, I'm gonna be 1% more free now because of this. No, there has to be more. I mean, think about it. If you figured this out, well, couldn't you like monetize this? Couldn't you use this to like get something? I'm like, I mean, I guess I didn't really think about. Oh, let's explore it. No, you guys see, like, all of a sudden, this desired end outcome is going to start trying to get created. Without your choosing, you're going to realize that things are going to get presented to you. Remember what I said, guys, is that the Void Dragons play is that they try to present knowns to you. They try to present knowns to you, and it's usually related to your desires. All of a sudden, they're like, well, if you do it like this and you do this, you could get exposure that could let like the girl watch it, or could let you. You guys understand what I'm trying to say? Is that that's how they do it. So you'd have to operate without desire, because you can't be an individual that's operating outside of the tapestry, outside of the know, if they can just present the desire and you now become the known threat. It doesn't mean that the desire isn't positive. Like I said, guys, if you present the girl and the kid and I know that like she's single or something like that, or she just broke up and she wants to like have an opportunity with me, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be positive. It doesn't mean that it's not going to modify my behavior for the better. But these guys see it temporarily brings me back to where they want, and then I have to destroy it. I blow it up, and then I'm outside again of the tapestry. But you guys see, it still changes. Like my line is still slightly modified because of that. It always will be. Do you guys understand? My desire presents the girl. It's always going to change me. Merry Christmas. It's always going to change me. But I have to destroy it. I have to. But now I'm still modified. But you guys see, now I'm starting over again. I didn't let them put me into the river that they chose for me. I was there, and she's like, do you want to join the river? And I'm like, I would love to. You have no idea. But, hey, you know what? I need to do this right now. I need to finish this talk. Maybe we'll talk after. She's like, yeah, I'm not going to have time. I'm like, oh well. She's like, what? Nobody rejects me. You see that? I'm just having fun with it again. But you see, like, it's just something like that, guys. You get it? Do you guys understand? You didn't let them put you into their timeline, into their flow of the river. Because they try. They always will try. They always do try. And if they can't do it through negatives, they do it through desires. But what if they also do it through attachment? Attachment is a complex topic, but I'm saying attachment to the specific players in an arena. So think of it like this, guys. Since we've been using the flow of time, the river, but the actors like Alexander the Mask of the Walrus, all that stuff. What if you are the instructor? Or what if I am another one of the actors? Or what if I'm the parent of one of the actors? Or what if I'm a sibling? Or what if I was the one that brought all these people to the lazy river in like Puerto Vallarta or something like that? Do you guys understand? That means that I now have attachment to the players that are floating down the river, or that are doing the play. So I'm saying, guys, that if that exists, see, right now we're not even talking about desire. Maybe you destroyed the aspect of your desire was, well, I hope that everyone has a great experience in Lazy River. I hope that the play is a success. I hope that they all feel free to just be themselves, create their own time, create their own existence, not responding the way they have to, not doing the things that they have to. and they don't care that if we were that I tricked them into thinking that we were live streaming or that that we have an audience, even though we do. And they just operated freely, and it was incredible. They're like, what do you we thought it was just a rehearsal. We thought that it was just gonna be a family trip. What do you mean that there's strangers here or people we don't know? Or why didn't you tell me? I would have worn my different outfit. Or what? You guys understand what I'm trying to say? Like, you hear those things, it's because an unknown got presented. So I'm saying we destroyed the desire, but do we still have attachment toward the players that are currently in the arena? Do we have attachment to the players that are floating down that river? Do you guys get it? That if that exists, we are never going to be able to reach the point of having the capability of creating our own line of existence, our own flow of time. We can't malleable goo the wellspring anymore of time to make our own river. Because anytime that we would try, we're going to get reminded, the knowns are going to be presented of the attachment to the players that we have. And they're like, are you really going to do that? Are you really considering just creating your own river? And you're like, yeah, you're right. I can't. I'm telling you guys need to defeat those things, because if you can't, see, at no point am I saying that those things are going to lead to bad. But if you can't defeat the attachment, they're just always going to present that every single time. I'm telling all of you is that it's where almost everyone gets lost, because it's the most difficult one to defeat. I would say it's even more, I think it's more difficult than negatives. I really do. Now that I think back to my adventure and how I came to this and how I solved everything, how I figured it all out, the attachment part was probably the most challenging part of all. It was extremely brutal. It was extremely lethal. I had to defeat attachment to every single thing. I'm telling you guys, it wasn't easy. Now it is, just so you guys understand. But I've been operating this way for an extended period of time. But it's not. And also, all of a sudden, when it starts building again, you're like, whoa, there it is. It's so much easier now. It's easier to defeat now. But I'm telling you guys, attachment is the most dangerous one. It's the most difficult, because they always do a 1 + 2. When attachment presents, if you're not falling into the river that they want, they present attachment, guys. And I'm saying, guys, the moment they present attachment, they also present you a guilt play. They're like, do you know what they did for you? Or do you know what they do for you? Or do you know what... You guys understand? And I'm saying, yeah, so what? If you take that approach, then there's nothing they can do. It's not, because then at the same time, it's like the gratitude play and all those things get presented. I'm saying, guys, none of that matters. Because you're not... You see, why does none of it matter? Because you're not looking to exploit something. You're not looking, if anything, you might even exploit less, but you don't have to. I'm saying, you see, if they do, then they've successfully managed to get your behaviors to change. But I'm saying it's not, at no point should you even consider exploiting or taking advantage of things. It shouldn't even enter your head. You should always be trying to operate with the most minimal and doing the least. Do you guys understand? Like, you're not trying to impact anything negatively. But they do that to try to weaponize the attachment play, so you flow down the rivers that they intend. So you do their timeline, so you are operating in their existence, their line, and it looks exactly the way they want. But at any point you're deviating from it, they present, whatever you say, the desires, negatives, but really it's the attachment play, and then they attack you, they reinforce it, they hammer it in, all the nails, yeah, you can say it. Overcooked beasts, beastly battlements. And they hammer it in right then, and there's nothing you can do, guys. I'm telling you, I've saw it. The people around me, they couldn't break free because they kept presenting the attachment over and over. They always were so close, so you understand. They were always so close, but they just kept presenting the attachment. And they can't break free. They just can't. That's why for most people, you just need to create distance, just so you guys are aware. That's the only way. But what if you can't? When that happens, you have to be extreme. Because I'm telling you guys, if you don't defeat the attachment to the players, I really think that the key is if you understand that everything that gets presented, guys, is not an accident. Wait, I was operating freely. I was doing my own thing. I was creating my own time. I was creating my own existence. And then all of a sudden, they brought back desires. They brought back potential outcomes, and they brought back attachment. And now then they brought guilt, and they brought like all this stuff, and like, whoa, how, like, I'm saying, guys, the answer to solving and defeating all that is realizing that those things present when you're operating, not everything's seen, when you're operating freely, when you're creating your own threads, because they don't want to allow that, so they need to get you back in line to be in their line of existence. How can I do that if you're creating your own timeline? How can I do that, guys? Well, I need their line to intersect with yours through any way possible. I need to force that now. Do you guys understand? I need to force that. That's the only way I can stop someone who's creating their own line that's operating completely without any influences or externals now dictating or knowns. I'm just saying, as when it starts happening, it's not going to be easy, and you're not going to get it correct the first time or the second time. But what I'm trying to make all of you realize is, and including myself, is that when those when attachment plays begin happening, it's because they're trying to get you back in line. I see it now. I now know why those things happen when they did. Is that when you break free, when you're operating outside of all the confines of all the known, is that they start doing the attachment play, the desire play, and the attachment play. It's just how they do it, and it's not easy, and you can defeat it. But what I'm trying to make you guys know is that the secret to defeating it is knowing that it's an intended play. If I tell you guys, hey, I'm creating an encounter for all of you to solve, like a puzzle or a difficulty or something, like I think like a video game, like a battle that you have to solve. The first hour operates like this, all right, guys? But in hour two, the moment hour two begins, all of a sudden an attachment play is going to happen. And then guilt is also going to be inserted at the same time, and all this stuff like that, guys, all right? And you're like, wait, so that means it's known, it's intended, it's planned, it's not an accident. And I'm like, correct. Well, then should I really respond to it and do that? And I'm like, what do you guys think? Do you guys see, like, if you now know that the reason why it's presenting is because it's intended to get you back into the predetermined existing timeline, so that now the void dragon can mold the flow of time. If you guys now know that, won't you now choose to respond differently? So you see, I guess what I'm realizing is to defeat their play of when they present knowns to try to control you, is that if you know that their play is to present knowns, you can weaponize your own strategy against them. That's really my takeaway, is that now that we know their strategies of how they do things to make us be placed within the tapestry again, so that we are now a known piece rather than operating outside of it. Now that we know it, I'm like, this is going to happen. I know that there's going to be more desire plays and more attachment plays that are going to happen. I'm saying the more time that I operate this way, they're going to keep escalating, and then every time those don't work, they start bombarding you with negatives again, and then they try again. All right, well now that he's been bombarded with negatives, let's see what happens. Let's do the desire play again, and let's do the attachment play again. Still in function? All right, let's try again. Negatives. You guys get it? It's a repeatable process. So once you know that, it doesn't make it easy, but if you know that, doesn't that mean that you now know that, wait a minute, they're trying to get me to operate, become my known threat again? I'm saying, guys, you shouldn't. You have to defeat it. Because what I'm trying to make all of you realize is, including myself, is that at a later point, like for example, let's say if I defeated attachment towards, like, let's say my parents, or like to all like my 20 cats that I have in my pilgrim's refuge, and they forced the attachment play right then, and I'm like, oh man, and I defeat it and I create distance. I can now bring back all my 20 cats, like randomly, arbitrarily, at any point, maybe like 3 weeks from now. I'm just like, hey. And you see, nothing is prepared. Nothing is what I call seasoned. There's no knowns present. They're like, wait, what? And when you do that, I'm saying, guys, is that everything's going to be better. You guys, but it's going to start getting built up then. You guys best bet, because if it was unexpected, you weren't supposed to go back to that line of existence in that timeline right then. They're like, wait, what? We didn't have anything prepared. Remember what I said, guys? Then everyone's operating. They're just free, because we created an unknown. You guys understand? So now everyone's operating freely. But when that happens, guys, is that you're going to realize that within minutes, within hours, that all my 20 cats are going to try to get enslaved. They're going to try to enslave them. They're going to try to make them all become known tapestry pieces again, threads in there. So they all do their role. They all operate the way that they're supposed to. They're all supposed to just be a decoration that functions the way they intend. I'm like, nah, they're more than that. But I'm saying, guys, that's just how it is. But so most people view destroying attachment as, well, now do you like hate everything and you create distance or everything? I'm like, no. But yes, you create distance, but you can bring it back at arbitrary times. That's the answer. What does this actually allow, though? It means that there's no more misunderstandings, guys. Just so you guys are aware. This is why it's so powerful, because what leads to most known things is it's through remember what I said, is they distort things, and the distortion of the mist creates situations where misunderstandings can arise, and those misunderstandings are what lead to problems. And that's why usually when, like, if everyone is operating currently on a known timeline, just so you guys, an existence, I'm telling you guys, usually the correct play, if you're someone who has pieced all this together, is to just not do anything. Is to just be quiet. Because the more you try to fight for it, the more you try to course correct, what you guys are going to realize is that there were so many roadblocks created and put in place. That means that everything that you say, everything that you do is distorted. So it doesn't matter. Just so you guys know, it just doesn't matter what you do. I wish I knew this, just so you guys know, 2 years ago. I should have just stopped trying entirely, and it would have been the answer. But I couldn't. I didn't know. Do you guys understand? I just didn't know. And this happens everything from harmless things to video games to everything. I wish I knew this when I was first playing like Elden Ring and Final Fantasy and stuff like that. So I'm just letting you guys know, it's just, it doesn't end. It doesn't end. But prevention of all misunderstanding is actually one of the most critical pieces, because remember, if we're not doing what we're expected to anymore, guys, it just creates a question mark in everyone. They're like, wait, what? Wait, what? We don't get it. And I'm like, that's all we can do. The only solution is that all of them have to heal. All of them need to figure this out. And since they can't, this action is the best band-aid. Do you guys get it? It's not the solution, but it's a band-aid. But what else can we do? All we can do is heal ourselves and keep ourselves protected. We can't need the desire of the outcome, because if we do, it's over. But you see, by preventing the misunderstandings, then we're safe. I'm telling you guys, they weaponize misunderstandings to try to create events, approximations, or things that people can't explain, so that they can lead to reverting them to becoming that known thread. So now they start operating an exact way. And once they start operating an exact way, you guys understand that means that they're going to set things in motion. And when they set things in motion, remember what I said, they're just floating down the river, and they're seeing negatives and positives, and they're getting suggestions that the void dragon, since it has them in their grip, Kolagarn, it just is inserting things into their head, and nothing is interrupting them, because remember, they have the mask on. I'm like, oh, life is good for now. Things are quiet finally. Things are finally quiet. and they're just floating down the river. And by the time they get to the destination, oh wow, yeah, that was a really good idea. I think. But you see, they're gonna have anger towards certain things, and they're gonna have peace and like good towards others. And when that happens, what I'm saying, guys, is the action is now, what they set into motion is now predetermined. It was created, it was planned. It's how stories get written. It's how usually the bad ends up happening. But you see, guys, when bad happens, it forces then the next player to go down the river. The hero who's going to supposedly solve the problem. But now they're getting the same thing that's happening to them. The Void Dragon is doing the same thing to them, but they're creating a hero. Do you guys understand? They create a hero. And now when they create this hero, now all their actions are also predetermined. All their actions are also predetermined. So they set other things in motion. You guys see now there's a natural conflict, the villain, and now there's a natural hero that's going to destroy the conflict. And do you guys understand? Now it happens, but you can see now the story is created, the clash is created, and it will have severe ramifications on countless people. It creates permanent new reminders, which now become knowns, which that means that now at a later point, they can just present that like, hey, do you remember when the Void Dragon shot a laser? Hey, do you remember when Kolagarn did the grip play? Hey, do you guys remember when you floated down the lazy river? Hey guys, do you remember the walrus? Hey guys, do you remember Princess Garnet decided that she was going to stab the black mage? Hey, you guys understand what I'm saying? You guys, if you've been actually listening to this entire stream, I brought back things from the beginning that actually now mean something to you that you understand. You might actually go outside right now and see on a billboard that literally says, hey, come join you, bring your family to our resort. We have a new lazy river. You guys understand? You might now view that as, oh my gosh, Shepherd Star's talk on this. Does that make sense? That is how they do it. They create it so the predetermined outcomes happen. And when those things happen, now they have permanent things that they now can present as knowns, even if they're not happening. Do you understand? You guys might not be doing a play right now in front of actors or live streaming, or a fake audience is there and I move the curtain. But all of a sudden, I say, I'm like, I'm like, hey guys, I want you to read this short story or this poem that I wrote. And it's like, and today we removed the curtain and we found that we have a fake audience. All of a sudden you're like, oh man, I need to create time. I need to create my own existence. I need to operate outside of the tapestry. I need to not be a predictable thread. I gave you this poem and I sang it apparently. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, I'm yeah, sorry, you don't know what I listened to something today, and it really made me contemplate things differently. Like, all right, I just wanted you to read my poem. Like, yeah, I'll reread it again. But you guys see what I'm talking about is that now something as harmless as that was presented and is now unknown, and that's how they do it. That's how they do it. But all these people that get caught by the laser in the grip, by the time they reach the destination, they just operate and they set things into motion based on all the knowns. Which means that if anyone now starts responding to it, is that the storyline is already pre-written. You guys, I'm telling you guys, this is why I always was like, how do they predetermine everything? It's because they pre-write it, because they've guaranteed all the outcomes based on everyone's known positives and known negatives from their past, which means that everyone's behavior, everyone's actions, I'm thinking Round Rock's the Alexander Raid series, I'm thinking Karen Travers, I'm thinking things of that nature, I'm thinking the Cuff Guilt play with Frey, I'm thinking, I can keep going, it's good enough. But do you guys understand? Like, all those things are now predetermined. So if all those people are like, why don't you respond? Why don't you do these things? I'm like, because if I do, I can defeat it myself. I can defeat it for my own story. I can create my own line. But what ends up happening, though, guys, is that no matter what I do, if I would respond based on their timing, is that I'm now back in their line temporarily. And And since everything's distorted for them, I'm saying, guys, is that I'm now stuck in the line. I can keep jumping out of the river that I keep falling into, but there's nothing you can do if you just are operating their known story. The only option is you have to pray and hope that somehow they're going to finally take the initiative and the effort to be like, wait a minute, I need to figure this out. I need to heal. I need to solve this. I need to understand so that I don't always put the mask and respond the same way to things. I need to figure this out. I need to. And when that happens, then if they can finally create their own line, their own existence, their own time, then, do you guys understand? We would gladly interact with them. We would gladly risk going down exploration, like let's say we're exploring Stranglethorn Vale, and we could do that. Doesn't matter if there's stealth panthers that might attack us. It doesn't matter, because now we can just do whatever we want with them, because we understand that if all of a sudden they get attacked, like, oh my gosh, ah! And I'm like, hey, you good? They're like, no, I feel like reverting. And I'm like, all right, you just stay right there. Build some shelter, because we're going to find Kurenai on our island in the underwater kingdom. I got this though. All right, you stay right there, and you solve it. You guys see, they can now pause. They can now pause, and they don't just keep floating down the river, stuck in the grip by the Void Dragon laser. They're not going to just defeat the walrus. While listening to trance music. Algalon. You see, for the first time ever, we won't be focusing on what we can't understand. When you don't focus on what you can't understand, and you no longer allow for misunderstandings, there's no destruction that can happen. Because I'm telling you guys, since we can't understand something, that's where the problems happen. I'm telling you guys, there's still things, I know so much about this world, and there's still things I can't get the answer to. I just can't. Just so you guys understand, I'll never be able to unless they give me the answer. Just so you guys know. There's many things. I'm not going to get lost here, but I just want you guys to know there's things that I know, but I can't understand. I know what you guys are capable of, but I don't understand how it's possible. And when, the rules behind it, how things operate. So I just think about it, for myself, I don't know, in Doom, I know that the Marauder is overpowered because it demands all your focus. It's just an enemy that can activate a shield if you only can attack it when it's attacking, and it just completely demands all your focus. But I'm like, can I actually defeat the other enemies while it's demanding my focus? I'm like, yes, it's possible. It's extremely challenging, but I'm just like, how can I figure that out? It's not easy. You guys understand? It's not easy. But since we can't understand it, it can lead to destruction. I'm like, I just can't understand how to focus on the other enemies while this thing is literally causing so many complications. Now destruction is present. Now I can misunderstand things. You see, when that happens, now known behaviors are going to happen. I'm like, well, this enemy keeps charging me with its shield and its red sword and shooting lasers at me, and it summons its spirit wolf that I have to use my grenade tools to protect myself, and it just demands my attention. I don't understand how to just keep it there in the background and do other things. So, and I have to overcome so many things. Guys, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna only focus on it. So you see, now it's my known behavior. The possibility of misunderstanding and the situation that, since I don't understand some things yet, but they try to make me understand it, something else tries to create my interpretation of things. So I get to a point, now I understand. I'm saying, remember what I told you guys at the beginning? They try to make us know everything we think so. So, and then they remove the bad. So think of like this Marauder in the Doom video game that I play. Or I'm thinking even like Returnal. I have to listen to some of those songs again. I'll listen to one of the other boss fights or some good ones. So I'm thinking Returnal. See, now I'm excited. So let's find the song. But all of a sudden, see, I even interrupted myself. Oh, but now the Marauder, the enemy that I can't overcome, that's always causing me complications, is removed, is gone. I'm like, whoa. You guys hear the music? All of a sudden now you guys can focus on different things. You're like, whoa. I'm not being attacked right now. Like, there's no problems anymore. I didn't do anything different though. I'm thinking Vesex. Lowering the rate damage. We didn't do anything different though. We didn't like learn a strategy, or we didn't have something that solved it for us. It just magically just is gone. Things are quiet now. There's no more destruction. Well, wait. Well, now I can just do whatever, guys. I'm gonna drink from this mug over here. Hey, maybe I think I'm gonna create a song now. I'm gonna create a song inspired by this song that I'm listening to. Now I can create time. Now I can make my own existence. You know what, guys? Actually, I know I told you guys that I always get stuck. That one enemy always stops me, but it's gone right now. So now things are not actually too challenging. Now things aren't impossible. Now I can actually, I'm gonna make things even more challenging now. I know I always say I use that, like, these grenade tools that protect me, or I always use that one gun, like the plasma portal rifle. But I'm not gonna use that one. It's just too strong. It's too good. So wait, if you remove the one thing that's like destroying you, that you don't understand, or that's causing misunderstandings, all of a sudden now you're actually able to create your own experiences. You can create your own time, create your own existence, because now there's not knowns. Now you're actually willing to explore and make your own unknowns. You're like, wait, what? So you see, when we're operating now with no known behaviors, because we remove those things, there's no desire, there's no end outcome, there's no attachment anymore. Because even attachment, like to the Marauder, like that enemy in Doom that's destroying me, like, you guys understand there's attachment there, because it was negative attachment. It's known, because there's so much installed, there's so much repeated there. I'm telling you guys, that's how they do it. The attachment is both negative. People always think attachment is for good. Happens. That's how they create builds. Do you guys understand? Is that there's negative attachment, repeated interactions, repeated things. So I'm just like, right? Like the Elven Stag, and just like that. Those enemies, just there's more repeated attachment. I mean, that's why I think like Belrock and Ragnaros and things of those natures, like Heroic Lich King, like those characters, they just have more attachment. Rokara and things of those nature. Like there's millions of things. Dark Magician, Blue Eyes Dragon, all those things. Ganondorf, the owl, started with the phoenix, the Dark Knight. I could keep going, but what I'm telling you guys is that once everything is known, all our strategies, our approaches, the things that we have positive and negative attachment to, the desires, the possible storylines that we want, I'm telling you guys, once they see everything, once they know everything, they can just present those knowns, both the goods and the negatives. It doesn't matter. Do you guys understand? When they present it, we become a known thread, and now we're floating down their river. And if we don't know how to jump out using like I'm thinking Twilight Princess, the blue tunic that let us like swim out like a dolphin, and we finally jump out, and we don't even need the hook shot this time to do so. And when we do that, I'm like, whoa, all right, damn, that river was flowing fast. I'm safe now though. We're good. Whoa, they got that. They got now the positives. I need to be careful. Alright, well, maybe I shouldn't talk about those things like that anymore. Maybe I should only use one or two and not just keep going. Yeah, because they catch on fast. They really do. I'm talking to myself right now. Because they just made a plan. Even actively as I'm doing this. You get how complex this is? You see, now I learn. I'm like, so even though I used it to scramble to what they were setting up, can't keep going down that many. They don't like it. You don't want that many positives in a row. So you see, known behaviors prevent us from being to create our own line of existence, our own time. I'm saying the modification, deviation of the line, right? Like the Chia Pets, Tamagotchis, or Neopet, or stuff like that is real. But it's not enough. Because if they can create repeated, I call them in the past counters, but repeated paths that we do to make sure that we don't walk down and operate as an existing thread, then there's nothing they can do. So what is the answer? What we've done this entire stream, what I've done, even this segment where I've intentionally planned to operate guided on a set line that I already created before, that they had hours, just so you guys understand, they had hours to literally plan how to deviate me when I talk about this segment. They didn't know when I was going to do it, but they could kind of guess. I ruined it, but I'm telling all of you, they still had hours to plan all the things that they were going to present and all the things that they were going to suggest to me. And I've been destroying all of them live. Rewatch this last segment and you guys are going to see how I do it. And the answer is we have to simply explore and do. Because then we're not bound by any one thing or thread. I'm still letting myself be guided by it, but I can now add whatever I want. I can talk about whatever I want. I can take any approach. I can do anything. And if I just wanted to stop it, I'm like, you know what? I'm good, guys. I could. I'm not going to because I'm about to finish, but I could. You see, I'm not bound by the desire of the end outcome. Like, this is what I wrote. This is what I need to cover. This is what I need to talk about. I'm like, I actually don't. I've already covered so much this stream. It was amazing. It was incredible. But let's say people are like, oh yeah, that's why it's easy for you to say that now. But what if you didn't? What if you actually just failed? The first hour you were stumbling around and just not saying anything positive at all. Nothing good came from this. Arden and Noctis. So this is how you landed, huh? Do you guys see? I'm not bound by any one thing anymore. If it didn't go well, I'm saying it doesn't matter because I don't need it. Those people who tried to say that to you, it's easy for you to say because you had a great 2-hour stream before you got to this segment that you wanted to talk about, that you had planned to talk about. Those people are what is being used by the Void Dragon to make you care about desire, to present knowns, to make you present attachment, to present guilt, to do all those plays. Remember what I said, guys? All those tactics that they do. What the results were before this are irrelevant. My point is, we're not bound to this. I might have only talked for 5 minutes and been like, you know what? It's not happening. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I know I talked about it yesterday, about giving up. They didn't make me give up, but I'm like, if I choose to, no, you know what, that's that. Then so be it. Do you guys get it? Then that's that. But I have to be able to, because if I can't, they can present knowns to me that get me back into operating the way they choose on their flow of time. And I'll never be able to create my own threads in my existence. Because they can see all my actions, they can see all my paths. They know exactly what I'm going to do if they present whatever they do. And they're always learning. But this is why you guys see how complex it can be, so overwhelming. You're like, wait, so it means if I start countering something like this by drinking water every single time they present a positive, that I'm like, that's awesome, but I want to reset. You best bet that they learned that. So people are like, well, I don't even know what to do then. What can I do? And I'm like, just explore. Try. Since you don't need anything. You guys see, like, you can talk about anything. You can do anything. You're free. Doesn't matter if it's good. Doesn't matter if it's bad. You're just creating your own line. Final Fantasy VIII compression time. That's what not being bound by any thread is. So how are we going to end this? When we finally get to that point where we can understand that, see, that means that now we have the power to do it. And what I'm telling all of you, that one that's going to, I want all of you to like sit with it, is that all humans have the power to create their own existence in time. We all are born with that power. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't gain more power, more magic, white mage, or like things like the Amdapur scholars, like that learn how to use different magics to create things. That's real. As we master more things, encounter more things, and decipher more things, and understand more things for ourselves, because we've put in the effort to heal, well, yeah, our power and our capability to create our own time and our own existence increases. That's real. But what I want all of us to realize is that what actually prevents all of us, because we are all so powerful, yet we don't think so, is it's the most simple things. It's the areas and the locations where we aren't using our power. Because, do you guys understand? Like, if I'm the best healer in the world, well, when I can heal, there's nothing they can do. Do you guys understand? Like, I'm always able to create my own threads. I'm not bound by any. I weave time. I don't operate based on what they put me. But what about if I decide to not use that power? What if I decide to focus on simple areas? Or areas where, just for myself, really the punchline, is like how they infiltrated when I had my family still, is that I decided to take a step back from just healing, from just bombarding them with healing knowledge. And for a good reason. Do you guys understand? Not because it's bad, but it can be overwhelming. It's a lot. And, well, don't you want to have more fun conversations with your girl? Don't you want to keep things more lighthearted with like your kids and your pets? You don't only want to just talk about the heavy things. And I'm saying that's intentional on their part. And I'm not saying it's always the wrong answer, right? To keep things more simple, but you guys see, like, we turn off that side of us in those areas. Because I just know it now with the desire. Like, if I'm talking to a girl that I consider dating, like, it's much, my healer version of myself is much more turned off at first. Doesn't mean that I can't get back there, but I turn it off at first. Well, I'm trying to keep things more simple. Do you guys get it? But those are the areas where we're controlled. And if they can control us, they can start presenting the knowns. And they can present the knowns, and they can create misunderstandings. When they can create misunderstandings, they can create situations where we're like, I just don't understand. And then now destruction can happen. I'm like, you're the ultimate healer, you're the ultimate mage, you're the ultimate white mage or scholar or sorcerer or something. That's what led to this divinity. And you mean the whole reason why all these events and motions are set into place is because of your family and your pets? I'm like, yeah. So that means that is actually what they target is the simple things, areas where we aren't using our full power? I'm like, yeah. So in a way, I'm like, so if I had used my full power, there was nothing they could do. I'm saying, guys, aha, holy shit. That's how they do it. Holy shit. So just so you guys know, one of the areas they've been destroying me in, not destroying, but where they've been corrupting me a little bit, is I create my own unique video game challenges, and I design my game, but I'm designing it, a video game, I'm creating my own thing. I'm designing it in such a way that I'm trying to make it extremely complex, challenging, it makes me think, but that also teaches lessons, and so I'm trying to achieve a certain situation. I'm trying to create scenarios that really push someone, myself, since I'm the one who's experiencing it, and that develop me, that make me explore different angles, that try to do all the things I just talked about. But what I'm making you guys all realize is that when I create those situations, guys, what I'm telling you is I try to create them, or when I am creating them, I'm not using my full power. So I just think that when I'm playing Elden Ring or any video games that I play, I always create these self-limitations for myself. Oh, these little motherfuckers, this is how they weaponize things. They weaponize my self-limitations. So we create self-limitations in areas, guys. We create self-limitations in areas intentionally, just so you guys know, to develop ourselves more, to learn more, to explore more, to experience different things, to create our own lessons, to create our own evolution. And I'm saying, if we are fully broken free and we're operating outside of the confines that they've created for us, so that we're now creating our own line of existence, our own time, our own flow of time, that what they do is they target those areas where we try to keep things simple, where we aren't using our full power. Because you see, those are the areas that aren't as well guarded. People are like, well, why wouldn't you guard like your family? Why would you guard your video games? And I'm like, it's not that we're not. It's just that we know that we can make those experiences even better because we don't need to protect them the same way. We protect them from outside things, but we don't protect them in the way that we could because we're trying to make the experience more just fun, to learn even new things. Because let's be real, in my video games I always played, if I always used the best things to protect them, because it would protect them. You see, there would be no corruption present if I would use the best things. I would just solve the encounter. It would be fun, but I wouldn't experience or learn the same things. So you guys see, like, if I'm trying to raise my kid, I'm going to try to create some limitations and some difficulty for them so they learn new things. But you guys see, that's where they're going to target it as well, because I'm not using my full power. That's so crazy. Holy crap, that's how they do it. What does it mean? It means that we can't give up fully on those experiences. Not at all. But we now have to be aware of them. And that's why yesterday I talked about we just have to give up on them. If we start catching that it's happening, we just give up. And we have to then use our full power. And our full power could even be, well, if we've been only using 10%, can we use now 40%? But it removes all corruption opportunities. I just think about it, like, if I was just started bombarding my girl back in the day and my kid with healing knowledge, even though she would have been like, I would have prevented everything, just so you guys are aware. It would have actually been real. But I wanted to keep things more simple. They target the areas where we don't use our power to prevent us from setting things in motion. And instead, the prevention is then what they use to then start inserting known things. So then we get consumed. Misunderstandings happen, we don't understand things, desires now are brought back. And then that sets things into motion that are known for every actor in the play of Alexandria and Damascus. Because all of them now find out that there was an audience behind the curtain. So I ask all of you, can we create time now? Can we create our own line of existence? Can we operate outside of their confines? Or are we going to let the Void Dragon laser capture us? You guys now know it's not easy. But a small victory which this is what today was. Even though I pieced this together now, how do you do it? Target the areas where we don't use our full power to create the problems, to get us back in their timeline. That's how they do it. The creating time.